Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Queen is Dead. I'm Sanjeet. I have Dhruv with me. And we have one of our returning guests, Devi, who you might know as Film Trans on Instagram. And we have a new guest today on podcast, Yadhu, who also has an Instagram page and a podcast by the name of Immersive Cinema. You can check him out. Like the links will be in the description. He's also authored a book called Hosur Secrets, which you can also check out in the link below. Today we discuss about one of Malayalam cinema's famous directors or like a strong voice, Rajeev Ravi, who's also a cinematographer and has shot like various and a lot of Hindi films, including mostly Anurag Kashyap films, but like also a lot of classics before. Lately, he's been shooting a lot of Akshay Kumar films, so I mean, I
Oh,
guess he's
really?
succeeding at
What did he
yeah
shoot?
whatever last Akshay Kumar has done.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay,
last I think 3 or 4 films, if I'm not wrong.
okay.
You can check. Yeah, he shot Selfie,
Oh, okay.
Katputli, and Bell Bottom.
Wow.
So I think he's doing well in life, hopefully. But yeah, today we discussed most of his filmography, his directorial filmography,
Yeah.
which are 5 Malayalam films, namely Anayam Rasulam, Jan Steve Lopez, Kamati Padam, Kuttavam Shiksham, and Tharmukam. And we'll probably go through his filmography, talking about those films, the protagonists, the stylistic choices, the world of it, and everything and beyond. So, first of all, hello to both Devi and Yadu. And hi.
Hello,
Uh,
everyone.
thank you for inviting me, first of all.
No, it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure always.
We can jump right into talking.
Okay.
Mostly, I think we can start with the Anayam Rasulam, which is his first directorial venture. And so, what are your initial thoughts? What do you think about the film? Like,
We
what
can
do you think?
start with Yadhu, go to Devi, then I'll.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to add this about Rajeev Ravi as a
Mm-hmm,
director.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have Malayalam cinema, like most of the directors, they opt, choose to make a commercial movie. They want to uh, impress the audience and bring the crowd and all that. So if you
Mm-hmm.
take director like Lijo Pellissieri, like he
Mm-hmm.
kind of mixes the surreal elements and also keeps it commercial. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
Rajiv Ravi is one of the rarest person like who doesn't really care like if people like his movies or not. He just wants to make
Mm-hmm.
like on the side, like you said, he's making cinematography for Bollywood and all that. So he's making money,
Yeah,
but again he gets to do what he wants here in this
Yeah.
hometown.
yeah,
So
yeah,
so
Yeah.
like I am obsessed with Osur here. Like my second book also will be like mostly in Osur. So it, uh,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Rajeev Ravi is very much obsessed with Kochi. Like in Torumugam, we'll be seeing Kochi that's
Mhm.
pre-independence, I guess.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And in Committee Padam, we'll be seeing a Kochi that like how the slums are getting overtaken by the all the land mafia people. So it's
Mhm.
like
Mm-hmm.
explode from each and every kind of society. So coming to Unnamed Rasulum, we have this. It starts with this song. Okay, so I really like this song very much. So it kind of
Yeah.
shows like the Kochi introduction to Kochi, that whole song.
Mhm.
Devi, do you know that song name?
Uh, I don't know the title of the song though, honestly. But
It's
like,
called Kayali Narige.
Kyle in Erike. Oh, where
So
the
Okay.
yeah,
voiceover comes. Yes, yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
so
yeah,
Uh,
it's like set up like an introduction song, but like I said, Raji Roy is very much like obsessed with Kochi. Like he wants to show how
yeah.
exactly Kochi is. So like
Mhm.
he's showing all this livelihood of people and all the like the companies and all that came up. It's like a brief history of the place. So
Mhm.
like more like Anyam Rasulum did not really work for me because I
Mhm.
really don't like this romance genre. It's nothing personal and not like nothing against the director or anything. It's just my personal. I really can't get into that genre. So,
Mm-hmm.
but the songs are all top notch. So that's what I
Mhm.
wanted to say. And
So
Yeah.
correct
like
me if I'm
my
wrong. If this is one of the few times he uses songs, because his films aren't song heavy. I think
yeah, yeah.
mostly, right?
There's one
if
introduction
we
song every time.
if we take like Kuttam
Mhm.
Siksha and Turmugam, yeah, that's kind of true. But if we take like Kamati
Kamati
Padam
Padam
and
has a few numbers. So yeah.
yeah, Kamati Padam
Okay.
has like very good songs, and also in Nyan Steve Lopez also there is some songs.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
Yep.
these three movies
Does
have songs.
mm,
Kochi culture. Yeah, Annayam Rasulum. So one thing that might not have aged well in that movie, like it has this stalking
Stalking
part,
bit.
like stalking
Yeah,
part.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yes.
I don't know, like we watched it during those times itself. So I don't know, you guys
Hmm.
recently only watched it, right? So it really must have like stood out for you, that same particular thing.
So, so I'll say, Sanjeet, you've watched it before, right? This is
Yeah,
the
I
first
watched
time
it
I
before.
watched it. This is the first time I watched it, and I had the one side of my brain was going, oh, is this not like stalking? And is this not like problematic? Which it is. But then I see it's not about justification. Like you can
Mm.
clearly, of course, take the film in that direction and sort of, talk about it as something which is problematic and all thing. I feel so as you said, Yadhu, that you're not a romance genre fan. I think I am very much one. So I think if I am sort of into the love story and I sort of buy it, and I do buy it more as from the man's side than the woman's side. I have problems with the female character in it, which we'll
Hmm.
discuss more. But I wasn't like bothered, but there was that nagging question in one side of my brain, which was like, oh, is this not Ranjana 2.0 in one sense? Which is
Yeah,
the
technically.
Anand Al Rai film. Yeah. So that was my head going. But there's so much in a Rajeev Ravi film, right? I feel all of them are kind of, we discussed this, Sanjeet, slightly novelistic
Hmm.
in feeling, like they just feel like they are sort of bursting at the seams of, as you said romance genre. I think it's romance, but there's like 15 other things going around it, and I think
Sure. Yeah.
even the beginning is sort of poetic, and it's like as you said, he's obsessed with Kochi, and it feels like it's a city movie, like more so than just a romance movie, right?
Hmm.
Like it feels like it's bigger than just that genre, which I think I responded to. But yeah, but I take your point about the stalking bit. That does have a leave a mark. Devi, you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
say, because you are probably you can say if that bothers you if you watch it again. Or, yeah.
Yeah. So one thing I would like to say about Rajiv Ravi is,
Hmm.
as Sanjeet said, he's a cinematographer. So
Hmm.
mostly how he visualizes his film, like as a filmmaker, it's
Hmm.
very much, I believe it is very much influenced by his craft as a cinematographer.
Hmm.
And some of
Hmm.
his best works are, yes, of course, with Anurag Kashyap, like Devi and all. When I first saw it, I still
Hmm.
remember. I couldn't understand. I couldn't even comprehend what was, it was so beautiful. I
Hmm.
just could feel that it was so different.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
Dev D is that film in a lot of sense. So
Hmm.
that kind of sensibility, even till I think Mukkabas is also from him. I'm not sure.
He partially showed parts of it, not the whole thing, because I think there are like 4 or 5 cinematographers
Oh wow.
credited in that
Okay.
film.
Yeah. So like so that sensibilities does come to his act as a filmmaker also.
Yeah.
And as Yadhu said, Ernakulam, not Kochi. In fact, Ernakulam is very close to him, because
Hmm.
Kochi is the new name, and Ernakulam,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he kind of stresses that, in
Hmm.
interviews and all. I've seen him,
Hmm.
time and again he would say it's Ernakulam, because that is the land that he is familiar with.
Hmm.
And he's someone who has been like his characters, his men,
Hmm.
the way he treats his male characters. He's
Hmm.
like that, observer, like
Hmm.
in a way
Hmm.
they are
All the
very,
time. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah, like they are going, the changes are happening.
Yeah.
See, if you see, even in Unnamed Rasulum,
Hmm.
you can see everything, that city is growing.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
there is still, like how the romances, there is still a doomed feeling, there is still a
Hmm.
disaster.
Always. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's still a displacement. And people are just even Rasulum, see, like how he's trying to figure out us or find a space for him.
Hmm.
He's and in the end it does come to that. Even when
Yeah.
he leaves, he's just, so Rajiv Ravi, he has spent some time in Ernakulam, I mean, that is his
Hmm.
hometown, and then later on he shifts to Bombay. So I somewhere feel that connect every time, even with Kammatipada, that
Hmm.
shift. So even though the changes are happening, even if he's in Bombay, he's somewhere like he knows that his city is changing, and probably it's
Yeah.
beyond his control, and it's nothing, not something that he's comfortable with. I think when we come to Kammatipadam, this will be more relevant.
More
But
yeah.
yeah. So the changes are one thing that I feel that there's
Mhm.
this and this another thing, since we already talked about changes, is the that is there in every film of his. There is this
Mhm.
overwhelming sense of a government or a state, that
Mhm.
it's somewhere I feel that it is the villain in every film of
Mhm.
every Rajiv Ravi film. And
Mhm.
he makes the state very, how do I say this, very invisible.
Mhm.
Like, we don't know that this is, see, primarily Unnamed Rasoolum feels like a love story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, even Kambatti Padam feels like a love story only, though it
Mhm.
is referred to as a gangster film, all that.
Yeah.
But see the influence of state,
Mhm.
even in Steve Lopez.
Oh
It is
yeah, I think
yeah,
I think he's very political in that sense. I think
yes,
all
yes.
of his
Yeah,
films have that
very
angle too.
But
easily.
how he addresses it is very, very different, I felt.
Yep. In
Like
all of them.
in all of them, even
Yep.
in, I believe that Turumugam is one where you feel it more, like, entirely feel the presence of the state,
Yep.
at least, like.
Yeah.
But in all the other films, it's just looming over, I felt.
Yeah.
So that kind of a
Mm.
treatment, it still amazes me.
Yep.
So and like how one thing that still attracts me to Unnamed Rasoolum, before that, as Yadhu said, the stalking thing, it did bother me. It's not like, as again, as Dhruv said, I
Mhm.
did think about it, like, okay, not the first time I watched it, as he said.
Mhm.
It's later on, when you are more aware, now that you are more aware, as you see a Ranjana, as you see other films, and you feel, okay, is this right or wrong? But
Yeah.
exactly as he said, there is no sense of right and wrong here. This is a
Yeah.
troubled relationship. These are two
Yeah.
From the
troubled
beginning.
people, yeah, from the beginning.
Mm.
And it's like, look at leave Rasul, look at Anna. Anna is
Mhm.
she's so passive in a sense.
Yeah.
So, like,
Barely has a
Suppressed
dialogue,
also
no?
very.
sorry,
Very few dialogues also, I think she
very
has.
few
Yeah.
dialogues,
Yep.
very few dialogues. She doesn't know. She, like, only if there is a push from his side,
Yeah.
Yeah.
is there a
Yeah.
reaction from him. So
Reaction.
Yeah.
Correct.
it's not like, and she's also wrong in that sense. She's there's and like or she's brought up a certain way, and she just doesn't fight. She just
Yeah.
doesn't fight for what she wants. She doesn't even sometimes know what she wants.
Hmm.
She just, there's a very, a quiet stillness about her,
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
and in fact, Andrea, she absolutely captures it in every frame.
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
even even that part where she dies, it's
Hmm.
like, a flower is just falling off. It's just
Yeah.
like, it's so silent, it's so,
Hmm.
it's in a sense graceful, but it's so, like, it doesn't matter in
Yeah.
that sense, because it doesn't cause a stir, it doesn't cause anything, except
Hmm.
for, of course for Rasul. But that
Mhm.
event, or what her life and death, it is so passive, like her character itself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that is something that I felt, and that construction of that characters, these two characters, and then you juxtapose it with someone like, I don't remember the character name, but Sunny Wayne's character.
Yeah.
Uh,
They
like
have
he,
a parallel, almost like he had a similar
yes,
sort of relationship
Yeah.
with
yes, yes.
someone
Ashley.
else, right?
and
Yes.
and I like the fact how, that's one thing I really loved about, I mean, in all Rajiv Ravi films you can see that, but
Hmm.
here what I absolutely loved is the friendship,
Hmm.
Mm.
Rasul has with like that.
Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
can't, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, as I said, I haven't rewatched, so I don't remember the names. There's one,
I think
Ashley.
Ashley only.
Ashley,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
so and one more friend is there, right?
Yeah. There's
Two more friends are there.
Colin.
Colin, Abu,
Colin,
and
Shobin Sahir.
yes,
uh,
yes, correct. So that is what. So the relationship they share, these men with, and like, they have their own vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
There is a certain sense of even helplessness even, but they then team together and somewhere move on, like or move forward, try to, at least in that sense. And then Sunny Wain's character comes from a totally different land, and they
Yeah.
still he could connect with Rasool, means he's also
Mm.
alone somewhere, I felt.
I
Like,
mean, he's the one who starts the narration, right?
exactly. Yes, yes.
He's the one.
Actually, yeah, his
Yeah.
perspective to the whole
Because
film.
there he's again telling about how Kochi has changed. I think
Yeah.
Ernakulam has changed into Kochi, or
Yeah,
how
yeah,
Yeah.
about the past, if I'm not wrong. So
yeah.
and suddenly these two people connect. Someone who's from
Yeah.
an entirely different land, and he just comes
Mhm.
and sits in the taxi, and he's just friends from then on. And it's such a
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
beautiful, and it's not forced also.
Yeah.
So wherever you are from, whether you are from a very urban landscape doing a very different thing also, and you
Mm.
meet someone who's living a completely different life, then
Mhm.
also it is something, I think, that loneliness is something that connects them. That's something I
Yeah.
felt.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, so this is somewhere, yeah, I think I have spoken too much about it. So
No, I think
Yeah.
that's good.
yeah,
Sanjeet?
so yeah.
Yeah, I think first of all, I think like what Devi also mentioned was like her craft as a cinematographer kind of also shines through even when he's like kind of directing,
Yeah.
which I feel is part of his persona in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time you'll see he's shooting from a little far away. Like
Mm-hmm.
the characters dictate the camera movement in a way.
Mm.
If you notice it every time, and
Interesting.
it's
Yeah.
all
Sorry,
technically
but
speaking like.
I'm
Huh?
interrupting one thing. Yeah, what you said is absolutely. I get this documentary feel when
Mm.
I see Rajiv Ravi
Yeah,
film.
yeah, observational type,
Yes,
like
yes.
always from like a far away and like observe, like it's all long lensing in a way, like looking from a far away what that character is
Cinematographer is
doing.
speaking, so he knows.
No, but technically, like you can
Yeah, no,
also
I know.
see, right, like in a
Yeah,
way
yeah, absolutely.
how and like you observe the character, you're part of, and then you kind of become part of the character's life, which happens furthermore in like every of his film,
Hmm.
like it's for like it's very down to the detail of what that character does and lives, the kind
Hmm.
of ringtone he has on his phone,
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
everything, it's like very specific
yeah,
to the time and space and
yeah.
like uh, the atmosphere, the characters surrounding and everything.
Hmm.
um Apart from that, I felt like the whole doomed romance, I really liked that kind of, also it felt like it's very immersed in like the literature and the cultural significance of Kochi,
Hmm.
Ernakulam, and everything. Because I feel the songs from whatever I read before uh, were recreated from like earlier tracks. I
Okay.
don't know, you guys would know it
Interesting.
better.
Hmm.
Uh, but just generally, I think I really liked how we kind of explored the character and how I get it. Like the whole stalking bit is a little, it is problematic. You can't
Yeah.
deny that. But I feel he's kind of reflecting on what he might be observing in a way.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean,
like
we know it's
random
hard to. I
perspective.
mean, it's
Not a
very like
justification.
again. It's the whole problem. I think it's the whole. If you do find their relationship endearing in any way, then it's hard to. Then you sort of pass over whatever your
Yeah,
thought is going on. I feel it's a weird
yeah,
thing to
yeah,
say,
yeah.
but that's what happens sometimes. But this is my first time. This was my first time watching it, so I was very much. I was swooned by it. The first half, especially. I
Mm-hmm.
was like
Yeah, yeah, same.
really into the parts where they are in the boat and going and that's their romance where it starts, in fact,
Mm-hmm.
which is what Devi was saying, I think, about displacement and dislocation. I think one of those things sort of runs through a lot of his films for me.
Because in that again, I'm sorry, I'm
No,
interrupting.
no, go ahead, please.
Just this bit when you told, because
Yeah.
that is their meeting point. Like
Yes.
it's so significant that it is so
Yeah.
limited.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
absolutely.
in that ferry is
Yeah.
where
It's
everything
also
takes
on
place.
water all the time, never on
Yeah.
Yes,
land, right?
yes,
Yeah.
and they are separated. Like this is
Yeah.
the water that connects it, that the
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
ferry is what connects them.
Yeah.
Uh, I think Anna is in. I don't remember. I think it's in Vipin or something, and
Huh.
Vipen, yeah, yeah.
he is in another part of like the city area of
Yeah.
Ernakulam. So it's, and this is their meeting point, and it's so significant that it's so limited, like their time together. It's all I feel everything is building up to that doomed romance. I try
I
and
think that
find a
feeling is always there, and which
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
even towards the end where I think they go for the this is spoilers by the way, for their uh, like they take off to some like almost Eden like place, right? Like they like go to this other hill station, I think, or wherever, whatever place they go to, where like all these couples who sort of ran away almost have been there for the longest time. And then even then there's like this silent treatment to how the day is progressing there, which automatically like put me on the back foot. I was like 100% something bad is like lurking in the background, and it's gonna like come over. And like I think that feeling that this won't last is sort of always there. And it's whatever Devi was saying, that it's exemplified by the fact that their romance blossoms on the ferry, which eventually it's such a romantic moment for me, at least. I was like, when the ferry stops, that's the point where it's the best for them, because they don't have to go here or there, whatever it is, like that's their moment of romance fulfilling. So like I mean, I
So
was
what do you think? Like, this is your first watch, right? Like, and it's very
yeah
recent.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked it. It's probably, I say it's maybe my favorite only from this, and
From
Kuttavam
his
really work for me. But again, I'm a big romance fan, especially of like doomed romance, kind of works for me a lot. So this checked a lot of boxes. It reminded me a lot of Sairath in some senses. And one more movie, I think I messaged Sanjeet, which I've forgotten now, but these two movies are the ones, yeah. So it really worked for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's generally something about like his protagonist, like going from Anayam Rasulum to Nyan Steve Lopez. What do you think about the character Steve? What do you guys think?
Yadhu, you are also not a fan of Steve Lopez.
So about what Sanjeet asked, okay, so he's asking like specifically about the protagonist here. So the Fahad Fasil's brother, okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's
We didn't even talk about Fahad Fazil, I forgot.
So
Sorry.
he's kind of like the typical manga protagonist. Like if you take Vinland Saga or Vagabond or Berserker, they're always brooding. Like they're contemplating life. They don't want to speak much, but they're just observing life and having
It's
all
like a
that.
Paul Strader character. I mean, because I don't read manga, I'm thinking of that.
I mean, you're able to picture what I'm trying to say.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
Those character faces, they're always like very serious. They don't smile. And like if you take the Andrea character in that Anyam Rasodam, same.
Yes.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
He's like kind of numb to everything. So it's kind of like that. Nyan Steve Lopez, it didn't work for me also. So but I really like the character. This like he's wearing that helmet and he's going on that bike. So it's very very normal thing, I would say, like
average day-to-day life.
average.
Interesting. Because I was thinking something different, but yes, go ahead. No, please complete it.
And we have this recurring characters in Rajeev Ravi movies. So he's one actor called Anil. So he actually recently passed away. So 1 or 2 years ago. So he will be there like in the Nyan Steve Lopez and also in Kamati Pada, main villain. So he's like he has this recurring cast, if I'm not wrong. So
he has, I remember, like I know because I've just seen his work that a lot of faces show up in a lot of. I think Sunny Wayne is also in this Kuttavam, right? Yeah.
And also that another supporting character like that. What is his name? That Devi. That in Mahishinda Pradhigaram, Baby Turtle's name. What's his name?
Dilesh Bhuttana?
No.
No.
Baby Turtle. Baby Turtle. His real name.
Oh, Alan Sear.
So Alan Sear, he'll be in most of the movies. in
Yeah,
Okay.
he was.
Ravi Ravi.
Alenchir. Yeah. He was there in that other Dilish Potan movie also, right?
Yeah.
Tondi
This
Madalam.
Tondi
Onde
Madalam
Mother.
Vrikshaks.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
So
but
yeah,
but no other thoughts on Steve Lopez. You
I
just
I
there.
know these two are my least favorite movies. So I really
Okay, interesting. No, but
I'm just
Steve
like
Lopez. So no, but Steve Lopez. Can I ask? Is it just because you don't? But you said you liked the character, which was interesting because I think one of my. I'll briefly say my thoughts and I'll hand it over to Devi
yeah.
and
No,
Sanjeev. Is that one of my issues with the film is that I actually wasn't into the character, and I actually thought there were smart things done in the film itself, but I actually felt the performance was a little too distancing. Like his performance was a little too flat, which in some ways was kind of needed. I understand he was supposed to be a sort of blank slate onto which a lot of things are thrown on
But I feel
later.
that character kind of fits stylistically, no? Like always a little reserved, like
No,
everything,
no, it does.
filmmaking wise also.
He's sort of one of those privileged characters who sort of isn't aware of his surroundings and he's sort of, lost in his own world. Sort of, I understand that.
Yeah.
But so there's two types of that, I think. Like there's a performance like that, which is more mysterious and enigmatic. And like it just, even though he's reserved, you're kind of more into that character. I thought this was a little just distancing. Like I was like, okay, I know what you're doing. Like I think the opening sort of lays it out pretty well with like life is unfair and confused or something like that is written on the chat. And I was like, okay, I get it. I get what you're doing. And then there's a central incident that happens in the film, which is a very, very well executed sequence. And then after that, it's a very art housey movie, I would say. In like, it's probably his most art housey. Should I say that? I don't know if that's correct.
yeah,
But
I think you're absolutely right in that aspect. Like it's the least commercial, I would say.
I thought so. I mean, I just thought so just because
It's I would say it's even a little self-indulgent.
that is, I
If
will. So
people
next movie, I'm
if
going
But
to
that
say
is all his
something
movie.
which you guys love, all of you. So I will leave it to people who like it better. Then I think they will be better equipped to champion some of its things. So
Devi's favorite, right? So
favorite.
Not favorite, but I really liked Steve Lopez. In
Okay.
fact, I actually like all Rajeev Ravi movies.
Okay.
So Steve Lopez, I feel what Dhruv said. I'll start with what Dhruv said. There is a kind of distanced feel when you are not entirely able to connect with the protagonist. It's very true. It's very natural to feel that way. See, the one I'm not comparing because entirely different this thing, but still, a movie that made me feel the same way was Tarkovsky's Mirror. It is shot in such a
Wow,
way. It
that's
is.
some comparison, Devi. That I think Rajiv Ravi
I
would
didn't.
appreciate that.
I didn't know how to express. So I just
No, it's
there
perfectly
is
fine. I
a
mean, I
there is
understand what you mean in
a
terms of distance.
I was just trying to say how distant you could feel.
Mm-hmm.
You entirely you wouldn't understand the character and you are just an observer. And
Yeah,
in fact, Steve is an observer, as I told
yeah.
about Rasul. Steve is an observer, but in his own life is also he's an observer. He's just it's
Yeah,
like he's standing outside and observing it. He doesn't
yeah.
engage. He's not aware. As
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't he does there is a carefree attitude in him, but there is also a certain innocence to him, I felt.
Mm.
And his love is entirely different from how Rasul perceives love, probably.
Mm.
yeah. Because I think
There
the
is a
class also differs, right? So
I was
class
about to say
also
the whole
difference.
class thing. I thought was a
Yes,
big
yes.
difference. Even the fact that he's Christian, right?
Uh-huh.
Belongs to a Christian household, I think, in the film.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So his father is, I think, he's a DYSP or something. He's
Yeah.
a so there is this the privilege of and there is the comfort of it's very different from Rasul's life.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that is also one reason, but that one thing that connects them is which I think is correct for all the Rajiv Ravi or most of Rajiv
Mm-hmm.
Ravi's male stars or actors or male
Mm-hmm.
characters is the that observant nature. I think that's something that he also does with his camera, as Sanjeet said. So there's a quiet. They're just quietly observing. They're not very like masculine hero types. There's not going to.
Really?
I didn't
This is
feel
my
that
really
way.
moment for the next movie we are going to talk about. But okay.
No, I
Uh,
didn't. feel that way,
Okay,
like
understood.
unless of course they are, forced or pushed into it, but
Hmm.
they are not
Yeah, Steve Lopez
even
is
in
more reserved in
Yeah,
comparison.
yeah.
yes,
Steve
yes,
Lopez is
Very,
just
very, very.
one or two explosive moments of violence. No, like
even
just
Yeah,
to
nothing
so
come
there
else.
is
to it.
a general boredom with life that Steve has. I think I think I can
That's
relate to that
that
in some
That's
that's
way.
inherent part of it.
but that's
Yeah.
why I was saying
True,
it is
true.
his most art housey movie. Like it
Yes,
reminded
yes,
me of like
exactly.
European films more so than the other section, which I mean European art house stuff which
So
I I watch
yeah, correct.
to connect with. But yes,
No,
but
but
yes,
I
the
mean, it's
boredom
not
thing. I
truly
agree.
a hangout film, but it has that kind of vibe,
Hmm.
like you're hanging out with the character in a way, like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
chilling with the character.
no, no, I couldn't like as I disagree there because I couldn't chill out with him. That, but still, with that distance, when you
Hmm.
see Steve and as Dhruv said, suddenly this incident happens and you see how he reacts,
Yeah.
then a lot of things start to change. There's one thing I wanted to say, and
Hmm.
something that I have always remembered is how after I saw Anil Rasulu after sorry Nan Steve Lopez after Anil Rasulum. So
Hmm.
uh, that it happens, right? Like when you see a Tyagarajan Kumar Raja movie, you expect something
Hmm.
similar in the next one, right? So you're
Yeah.
always looking for these things to tie it up as
Auto attack or whatever
yes,
it is.
yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was probably looking for that, and I found that Steve is so different from Rasul.
Hmm.
Even how he loves is so different, and how he casually, there's this, he peeps at a woman. I don't exactly remember there's this scene. I do any of you remember? He just peeps at that or neighboring woman and at the
Neighboring
neighbor.
moment. Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, there's this some kind of
Hmm.
pleasure he gets from. So but he's in love with I think what was her name, I don't remember,
Aishwarya.
Hana something.
Anjali
I
or
forgot.
Okay, I don't know.
Anjali,
May,
yeah, yeah, whatever.
yes,
okay.
because of the
Again, I
because of
would.
the ringtone. I remember as Sanjeev was telling me, Anjali, there's a ringtone, and in fact Harry also has the same ringtone, but it is a different Anjali, different song
Mm-hmm.
Anjali.
Okay.
That's
Interesting.
a little nuances, I think,
Yeah.
Ravi puts in.
Yeah.
Again, that in a very different way, the friendship that forms between Hari and Steve is, I find it interesting
Hmm.
how he has brought up.
Mm.
See, these men are all in somewhere, they are all the same. I feel like they are all caught up in these same situations, same, or maybe I'm
Mm.
reading too much into it.
No, I think
No,
that's
that's
true
true.
only. I
That's
think it's
true.
very
Yeah,
true. But this, I feel the circumstances are like make them like
Closer
specifically
or
different also. Like again, like the fact that Rasul is someone who belongs to a lower class and belongs to sort of, Muslim background. He has different sets of challenges versus your Steve Lopez, which I think Devi rightly mentioned. It's kind of a loss of innocence story also
loss of innocence. Yeah, yeah,
after
yeah.
the incident, at least, because it's very much like a cynical take on what it means to be living in a world of privilege and like I mean I
and
can relate.
how?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, sorry. Yeah, please,
No, no,
please.
I can relate to it. It's just that I either I've seen too many movies like this and I'm just going, okay, I get it, and I've seen it done better, or I just prefer them more cold or like colder than even this. Like there are some films that really feel like they push towards almost horror of like expressing this, detachment
Mm.
and then realization that you are even more detached than you felt before in some ways. So like I guess again, I've seen maybe this type of movie a little too much. Maybe that's why I was less receptive to it, but I appreciated parts of it very much.
Mm-hmm.
There's something
Yeah, yeah,
Yadhu told that reminded me of something else. Like there is this character, as he said, Anil Nadumangad. I don't remember the name of the character. This is the name of the actor in the
Hmm.
movie. He there is this beautiful scene actually uh, when Steve is told to stay away from all this. I think his mother or someone. I don't
Hmm.
exactly, but then
I
he
think
like
everyone tells him to stay
yeah,
away
yeah,
from it.
stay away. There's no point in
Yeah.
what, like in fact he was wasting away his life earlier, but
Yeah.
now everyone suddenly takes notice of him when he is actually acting out something. So
Yeah.
then suddenly this there's this beautiful dialogue that he tells, and the character tells that then what is the point of getting him educated?
Yeah.
finally trying to do the right thing, and then what is the so it all it all comes into that thing of where you act it out, where you act out your ideologies, where you stand for it,
Now,
where you
now
finally.
that you're saying all this, Devi, I think I don't connect with the movie because I actually have thought about all these things myself too much outside of the movie. So, yeah.
So somewhere when he finally tries to do the right thing, or when he finally
Yeah.
puts that education which he was, or his life which he was wasting away, to
Hmm.
some good use, nothing, even his destiny is not with
Yeah.
him. So it's such a tragedy.
This reminds me, Sanjeet, please go and speak. I know we've not let you speak only.
No, no, it's
Uh,
okay. I don't have much to speak about the film either. But
okay, so
yeah.
just because Devi said this, one of the things I thought the film would explore more, like it has, now I remember because it has this dynamic between the girlfriend and him, and I thought it'll play out more in how him stepping into his life is kind of also, the conflict between them might become bigger because she is the one who's like, get a name in life, and then that he gets a name in life, which like which also means that he now spends less time with her,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
worrying about all this other stuff. I thought that itself would create more of a conflict, but I thought that was a little under developed later on.
Utilized, yeah, in a way.
Yeah,
Technically, yeah.
One, now that you're speaking about it, I also feel the same. But
Hmm.
eventually, yes, it is about Steve. Well, unnamed
Yeah.
Rasul is about unnamed and Rasul. I'm not
Yes.
trying to justify, but I'm still feeling like it's so much more about what this man has become, and
Hmm.
then it is there. He's not again allowed to grow, or he's not allowed to live his life finally.
Hmm.
It's just cut short
It's
so
got a
easily.
tragic ending also. I
Yeah, yeah,
quite
yeah.
like the ending
Exactly.
in
And
a way.
and
Yeah.
and one thing is, this isn't set in Trivandrum, not like that's my hometown.
Okay.
And not in Ernakulam. So that also I felt, okay, it's such a different choice. And I always, if I meet Rajeev Ravi, I would want to ask why he set this in entirely in Trivandrum. Because yeah, it is about youngsters, it is about a college life, but still coming to Trivandrum, I would feel, I really would like to know the reason, because
Hmm.
most people then also
So
would choose Kochi or Ernakulam. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
Yeah.
the reason is, there are like lot of administrative buildings and all that. Like
Hmm.
it was kind of needed for the plot. So in
yeah.
Trivandrum, obviously it's capital. So I think that might be the reason.
Mm-hmm.
Could be, yeah, possible. So that was also like it's very less like in Malayalam film. Like early on in the 80s, 90s films, probably most of them would be shot in Trivandrum. That was the
Hmm.
the
Okay.
time. But now later on, everything shifted to Kochi.
Kochi.
So
Yeah, yeah.
when I'm seeing this, and seeing my town in a very different angle, from a very sober, moody angle,
Yeah.
no, but still it was I felt that it was an interesting choice to place them there, and
Yeah.
in that police quarters, and also
Yeah.
like maybe as Yadhu said, that could be one among the reasons, this
Hmm.
administrative headquarters in the sense
Yeah.
is there. So yeah.
So I
Possible.
just
Sanjeet, you recently,
I
sorry.
I just wanted to add this one small story
Hmm.
like about this movie. So
Mm-hmm.
every time like when it came out, okay,
Hmm.
this song will be playing out in the TV, that Muttu Penne, that song, okay. So
Hmm.
it's a very very beautiful song. Like
Yeah.
Jasif Gift is singing that, and like he's going through so much struggle and all that, but like the others around him are trying to cheer him up and all that. So
Hmm.
I always like whenever I see the song, I want to watch this movie, but I never got to watch it because I never knew like in which channel they'll put it. This was like way before OTT and all that
Uh,
internet era. So
Mm-hmm.
it took
hmm.
me like 7 years of waiting to watch this finally. Okay, so I just wanted to
This
add
is
that.
one of the films, one of his films that didn't do well at all, right? I think.
No. Commercially, it was
Well, I think it was
huge.
leaked or something at that point.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Most of Rajiv Ravi movies doesn't do well.
Kamati
So it's
Padam and Anaya Mathod are the successes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Toromugam,
yeah, yeah.
Toromugam and Kuttam Siksha, they did not do well at all.
Huh.
Yeah, yeah. But I think they were like doomed with the way they
Kuttavam
were
I can't
put out
imagine
also.
doing well, to be very honest. So, but anyway, Sanjeet,
Mm-hmm.
you just watched it, right?
Nyan Steve Lopez? This was my
Nyan
first
Steve.
viewing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was nice. It's not like see, if I compare it to like other films of his, then it feels like a little
Okay.
weaker in comparison, but it still has like a lot of story to it, you know.
Mhm.
And like it's always interesting how he uses inciting incidents and uses that to shape a character, which I think he uses that in Kuttavam also and like Kamati Padam also in very small,
Yeah.
small ways. And
Mhm.
I think more so in Kuttavam because like an inciting incident becomes like a part of the plot, and then
Yeah.
it's the characters around it who become like
Yeah.
are like part of the whole web. And we'll come to that later, but like yeah,
Yeah. No, but
it's interesting.
we can go to Kamati part. You guys can
Kamati
start. Yes.
Oh
It
yes.
was one of my starting first few Malayalam films that I watched. Like this was, I
Oh,
think,
wow.
2015. I think
Hmm.
I think so.
Okay.
That's when I watched it.
Yeah.
But which cut have you seen? Like I don't know which. Like there was like a
The
3 hour,
different
10-minute
cuts.
cut which I had seen.
Okay.
There's like a lot of censored. I don't know. Yadhu and Devi might know more about it.
So I think there is a theatrical version like with 2 hours something. So director's cut is like 3 hours, longest one yet. But there is another longest cut that exists like
3 hour
hour,
30.
4 hour,
Oh,
5 hours
4 hours.
something. So I think the even though the movie is like very long, but it doesn't feel like it
Yeah,
lags
yeah,
or anything. We are just fully involved in that movie, like the
yeah.
livelihood of these people and their
Hmm.
the the director uses like a lot of subtlety, like there is this caste oppression thing, but they never mention that, like explicitly they never mention that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
I did not understand that part when I initially watched, because it was like very very long ago. So I was not like
Yeah.
into world to world cinema and slow burn movies that time, but
Mhm.
I was very surprised that I was able to like sit for 3 hours, like interested in that. So I
Hmm.
think that's when my like love for movies started. Like
Wow. I really don't want to say
Nice.
anything about it, considering how
I
close
mean,
this movie is to you guys.
I'm curious to know like why it did not work for you. But I'll just
Yeah. Yeah. No, no.
my
You guys go
say
first.
my
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
want to
input.
know.
So
I want to know what all worked for you.
yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
Sanjeet hyped it. Maybe Sanjeet hyped it up too much for me, and I was
I
just like,
hyped it up too much. That's
probably.
the reason.
So I think the biggest strength for me is like the characters themselves. Like we
Hmm.
have this Dulquer Salman playing Ganga character, and his
Krishnan.
yeah, Krishnan and his friend playing the Ganga character. Both they are so well written. Like
Hmm.
he's
Yeah.
calling and lamenting his problems. So that's happening after a very like a strenuous period of their friendship and all that. Like after so many betrayals and all that, it's a
Mm-hmm.
like the timeline, the way that non-linearity works is very interesting, because
Fantastic.
Hmm.
we
Yeah.
are getting so much details, and we are like getting to know about that. Like Dulgar Salman is getting stabbed and he's like coming in the bus. So like there is so many things happening. We just have to pay
Yeah.
attention to all that. Like even though it's like very slow, but we are just
Mm-hmm.
fully paying attention and getting all the details.
Hmm.
So like I said before, the songs are absolutely fantastic. We one particular song that stands out. There is this ending song that
Para para. No?
yeah,
Was it
no,
the
not
para?
that one. The like one
I.
father son will be asking his father like where are the fields that I like the see crops that I planted, something like that. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
translating that.
Okay. Okay.
So it's fully about how the
Is
Kochi
it
is.
like Puru?
Yeah, that one, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
So
Purupulifal.
it's very meaningful lyrics. Every
yeah,
word
yeah.
is like it's very hard when you understand finally what they're trying to say. So it's
Mm-hmm.
about the uh, people of like from the lower strata of Kochi,
Hmm.
how they got like gentrification, like their
Yep.
entire lands and all were taken away, and
Mm-hmm.
but it's never right in our face, that message. It never he never Rajeev Ravi never tries to be like very like social message and all that. Like he's just putting it there
Yeah.
subtly. It's just up to us if we want to take that or not. So we are, as a movie, it it's what I would say a drum, like almost I would say like Once Upon a Time in America.
That's what
It's
we mean.
America. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly paced like that. Like we are
Yeah.
seeing like Robert De Niro's past, future, present, and all that. Like at the
Yeah.
same time, like I'm just curious, like how they did the editing for this. Like they would have been very confused, like the choices they had to make and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
He has a regular editor, right? All his films have been edited by this Ajit Kumar, I think I'd noted down, is the regular editor for all his films. But and all of them are very differently edited, by the way. So that's a very unique thing, I think. Because I feel Kamadi Padam is edited in a much, much different way to something like Kuttavam. Of course, the story necessitates it differently also, but I at least felt so. But yeah, Devi, what do you think?
Yeah. So what I felt is Rajeev Ravi's most energetic film is Comedy Padam.
Which is
Because
why I don't like it the most, right? Because it's the most
most
energetic.
because
Yeah.
most of them, even after this, even Kuttu and Shikshim, after Comedy Padam, it's a like kind of a slow burn, slow narrative.
Yeah.
Be it Unnamed Rasoolum, even this Steve Lopez, it's quite
Yeah.
slow. So you get into a movie theater feeling, okay, I'm going to, this is what I'm going to experience, but then they're so full of raw energy. There's less so much of I don't know. It felt very different. Like the first time I watched it, it's okay. This is a Raji Ravi creation. There's so much of even I think the cinematography is trying like someone else. I think it felt a little. It's different.
Yeah, I think except Kuttavam, all his films are shot by someone
Kuttuvam
else.
is
I
not
don't
shot by him.
Tharmukam.
Thermukam is shot by him.
Tharmukam is shot by him.
Korumugam is
Okay.
shot by, yes.
Yeah.
So anyhow, but I felt very, very different watching it. And as Yadhu said, a lot of very now the politics has come into the forefront somewhere, even though it tells about Krishnan and Ganga's friendship, and somewhere I still feel that Krishnan is not the man. I still feel that he is this vulnerable. I would like to
That's probably
say
Dalkir
maybe
Salman.
probably like I'm again, as I said, probably I am trying to find a connect in how Rajiv Ravi treats his heroes. So maybe that is also a reason. I feel that he's kind of a subdued, is like there's this like very plain alone kind of a guy, but he's then forced into like he does have these influences from Ganga growing up. So then there is this a different man that is actually designed by his friendship with Ganga, while Krishnan is in fact a very different person. So that's how I read it. And there's something I wanted to tell is I read this. I don't know whether I read it or I heard it somewhere in an interview or something, like how. He was telling how an entire community, how entire cultures are being erased off in the name of development, and how important, in fact, the culture is. Like whether it is you look at Steve Lopez, as Dhruv was telling, he's coming from a Christian background, so there is a certain way how life is for them, or how Unnamed Rasool, how Anna's life is so different from Rasool. So this cultural like sculpture is such an important part. So there is this incident that he told, that how it's their very lands there where they used to farm, all these are being taken.
Changed.
Yes, but in fact forcefully taken from them, and now they are working in some of his friends' wives and all are working in supermarkets, huge supermarkets in Kochi, or in petrol bunks. It's real. It's something that actually happens. So I could just imagine how it would have been for him to in fact go ahead and make this movie, and how in fact I still believe that this would probably be the closest to his heart. And again, as I said, he's traveling to Bombay, so there's
All travel.
Bombay Kochi connect is again there. And this displacement disposition that we saw in Unnamed Rasoolum, it comes off in a very different way here.
I've that's a good. I've quoted actually one line. I mean, I quoted it in English because that's how the subtitles. But it is basically while he's on the bus only, when he says, "Have we reached somewhere? Where should we go back?" I mean, that's a very good encapsulation, I feel, to a lot of his films in some ways. Like people always kind of feel a little lost in their home or outside of it also. But in this especially, where it's like even as Yadhu and Yadhu mentioned, that the narrative structure kind of also flip-flops between, you know, a lot of places. So it's that
Past,
sort of
present.
exactly. So that belonging is not even there in time or space in some senses. So it's interesting.
So that kind of a, you know, even if you like in a conventional sense, if you, I feel that all his heroes are marginalized in another sense. Like till now, as I was telling, so much of a helplessness, vulnerability, the aloneness, everything is there. Because of that, I would like to call them marginalized heroes because they are very different from the, you know, conventional. But this is a different kind of, you know, they're really entirely marginalized communities that, you know,
Yeah.
are coming up in Kamatipada.
Yeah.
And how they're actually, in fact, robbed of their land, and it's and how more than I think there's another character. I think Ganga's brother.
Brother.
Do you remember the name?
Ganga's brother. I don't,
Balan
but
Balanjetan, correct. Balanjetan.
yeah.
So there is this fight that he starts, and then
Yeah.
how it is being taken up by, you know, these generations to come. It's something
It's
that
kind
connects.
of like Gangs of Wasseypur.
Yes, yes.
More
Yeah,
precise.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Gangs of Wasseypur also, he's the cinematographer, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I think
see,
that was the last proper collaboration between Kashyap and Rajeev Ravi also after that. Yeah,
yeah.
what? Sorry, sorry.
Yeah, see, look at me. I'm trying to find connect even in the most, you know, banal way.
No, it's these are natural connections, I feel, more
Yeah.
so than made
Little,
up. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
what you said about this being the most energetic movie, you know, that was absolutely correct because we have like this power packed dialogue. Like
Correct,
Ganga
yeah.
will be asking, Niniki Dikana.
Uh,
Like, just many
yeah.
dialogues will be there.
No,
And Dulgar's last final monologues, you know.
oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. How
I
all
This is
this
a
is
good
being
way. This is
picked
a
up
good.
on.
We'll put it now. Since you've said it, we'll put it as a clip. The Dulkar's final monologues. And
Correct. That was, and
Okay.
that scene was also like, I felt like very different from his other films. There's a lot of, it's kind of a lot of drama in that, right? And not in the positive sense, I'm saying. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
usually see in Steve or in, I mean, there's no, it's very subdued. You don't get this kind of, like how Dhruv told.
There's a lot of story also in this, right? There's like, it's
Yes,
like
yes.
full epic
I,
kind of.
you basically said what I, why I, you explained why I feel disconnected from it. I feel.
So you're
So
done now, right?
I'm
no,
done.
So since we are taking connections to all the movies, I just wanted to connect to Angamali Diaries too. It's like
yeah.
Angamali
The
Diaries is like
chaotic bit,
Hmm.
the fighting and everything. Yeah, yeah,
I would say
I know.
like
Exactly.
if Angamali Diaries is like Goodfellas, this is like Godfather.
I
Ah,
can see that comparison. Yeah, yeah.
No, like
It's a
what
good
he told, like
comparison.
in Angamali also, see that culture plays such a huge
Mhm.
role. Let's say
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
named Angamali
yeah.
Diaries, so there's so
yeah.
much of Angamali in it, and that the culture is such a, so you are erasing that off, then that issue is being taken up in a very different manner. And one thing I want to, before I before I give others a chance to
Sanjeet, you speak
one
after this.
one thing I would like to
Dhruv is
say.
anyway done, so it's fine.
I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah, one
Sorry.
thing I would like to say is how it always brings me back to films that Vetrimaran makes, you know, and
Uh-huh.
especially like after watching Kamati Padam, and then watching Asuran. Have you seen Asuran? Dhanush.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's there's something
Dhanush,
that
yeah.
he tells that, you know, you can take everything away but not your education. It's something it's
Education.
an
Yeah.
I think it's an Ambedkar view of, you know, how this is that is the one way of progress, you know, when it, in life when it comes.
Mm-hmm.
So so that is, see, and that
Yeah.
puts a stop to, you know, a violence.
Yeah.
See, he's also about to do the same things when it would have been a proper full-on gangster crime drama. But how much of it, you know, how education is so relevant, and how that is the only thing that it can't be snatched away, like a land or money or even your culture.
Yeah.
So rest. So it's something with the education, or with whatever experience that these men have, they are actually rebuilding their lives. Whether you
Yep.
see Krishnan, or whether you see Rasool, they're trying to, as I said, as Dhruv said, there's no sense of belongingness, but they're still trying to find a place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes me like empathetic towards, them.
Yeah.
For me, the actor Vinayan, so he's like very underrated, I would say. Like he has
Yes, amazing performance.
like
Yeah.
the character he played, it's so real. It feels so real. Like he's fully regretting the phone call. I'm still remembering about that part.
Yeah, where he sits on that wall, and yeah. That's,
There's also like a supreme, like god level score, background score in this, which is like the whole. I think it's there in all of his films, but like in this film, it's
no.
like, for me,
In
it's
this,
like the peak of.
yeah, because that is again one thing I wanted to tell, and it's like how I'm sorry. No, you continue,
No,
please.
please go ahead.
No,
Okay.
like how he till Steve Lopez, and even then after Kamati Padam in Kuttam Shiksha also, there's this how he uses silences, to find a rhythm in a scene, or there's not much music, or there's not much background score. That's why again, this is full of energy. This is full on, it's a very different kind of a feel. Yeah,
There's
so
like a
I
lot of
let you speak.
simmering
I don't
anger
think there
also
was
in it.
any. I don't think there was any music in Kuttum Six at all. I don't remember the music.
I think
It was
there's
like
like notes and all that, but very little. I think that's his least score heavy film, I think. Least amount of score he has in Kutta, from what I remember, at least.
Epic zone also, right? So it has that. It has that trumpets blaring in a way and
Sanjeet, will
everything.
you re-say that, because my internet connection went unstable?
No, I said it once your internet came back. It's okay.
Oh, you can say it again. You are editing it. I'm just making it easy for you.
No, I was just saying like the score of it is also a little bigger because of the epic nature kind of in a way. Like also there's also one more thing, like each and every of his film has like a certain feeling to it, which is kind of emulated in like into actions, like what we spoke about. Anayam Rusulum had like doomed feeling to it, so you kind of
Yeah.
feel throughout it like something bad is going to happen, like it's like futile kind of.
I think that is the feeling in all of his films, I feel, to some
Yeah, but
extent.
in this one has more of like a simmering anger, which Devi was
Yes.
also kind of mentioning, like Vetrimaran. Like Vetrimaran, most of his films have like that
Explosive
anger kind of
anger.
explosive anger to it.
Mm.
And the thing is, like there's so much to it, like that feeling kind of still transposes from like plot point to plot point, or like story beat to story beat as it goes through. Also it has that whole brotherly bond to it, which is like an unsaid bond between like two. So also when I first watched it, it was like I think my third or the fourth Malayalam film that I had ever seen in my life. So when I watched it was like a very different feeling, because I couldn't understand like what I like. It was a great feeling, but I couldn't explain
Put
it
it
to
into
myself
words,
why I was
yeah.
loving it so much. Yeah. And it was like a 3-hour film, so it felt like, again, like what Yadhu was also saying, like it didn't feel like 3 hours, which I think is one of its finest merits, in my opinion. Okay, because
I didn't say anything.
I
Yeah,
had,
didn't you make an
I know,
expression?
I could feel it, something, but I was kind of trying to say was, shit, I forgot what I was going to say.
It didn't
Never
feel
mind.
like 3 hours.
No, I said it didn't feel like 3 hours. No, but the thing is, I think I didn't understand the film completely in my first watch.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't catch up with like the subtitles of it, because it was
There's
one
a
of my
lot.
starting few years
Yeah.
of watching film.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that is happening. So I was kind of trying to catch up with a lot of plot. But the thing is, there are some things which are like beyond words. So you can feel a lot of like the friendship bit and like the whole anger bit. And like there was this very subtle thing which Yadu was also mentioning, like how slum kind of starts becoming like
City.
cement kind of, yeah, concrete kind of takes over the whole like kacha houses and all that. Like I think when they go to jail for the first time, and then when they come back, there are like all these small roads which weren't there before. So they are passing, it's like a maze kind of thing when they are coming back to their house. And then subsequently it becomes like a proper concrete building, like he kills
And
like
in the
spoiler
ending
alert,
is like skyscraper almost, right? Like,
skyscraper, like the whole
I
thing,
mean, don't they say they
which
live in the
is
sky or something like that? I remember.
something I don't remember
Yeah, yeah.
that dialogue, but I keep watching this film like every 2 years
Wow.
or something. I feel because I feel there's so much to take from it, just generally. But you should tell like what you did, because I think
I
we
thought
all
you
been
said
raving
I
about it.
thought you said I have done. Like, I don't need to speak
No, but
about
you
it
have
anymore.
stuff that you didn't like, right? I mean, I think
No, but I
there's
think a
much more
lot of
to
the
talk
reasons you
about.
guys have said are like it's the whole thing. What is a feature for you might be a bug for me. I think what you guys say about the gentrification story, about these elements, like when you guys were talking about it and mentioning sort of singular parts of the film, I think I saw it more then versus when I was seeing it. I think maybe it's just because I take in information slower in one sense. It's the sense that if it was in a linear film, I might have responded more to the whole gentrification part of the story, about the whole city and slum.
Okay.
But I understand that
Yeah.
the narrative is part of the whole structure of the film, and it is interesting. I feel the structure, especially the fact when he sort of the bus is the sort of central point from which you're sort of flashing back and flashing forward. No, not
Story
flashing
catches up.
forward, but
Yeah.
like different timelines sort of
Back.
converge at
Yeah.
that point. But I think I think I guess my big problem would be that I'm not a big fan of how Rajiv Ravi directs masala mass, whatever you call moments. I feel the timing is a little bit off. Like
Abrupt.
I don't feel the impact of it when that whistle blowing moment happen. And this has plenty of them. As you said, like it is probably his most energetic, probably his most punchy movie in one sense, like probably literally also. But
I will use this same excuse when we are talking about Toromugam.
I understand what you
He's
mean.
not that big a fan of Tharmukam either, right? But
Who?
we'll come to that later for sure. You?
I mean, I have issue. Yeah, but what Yadhu is saying is kind of similar for me. One of the problems is that, like, I feel he's often a more restrained filmmaker, working sometimes with genres that require like
Little blowing up.
little like
Yeah.
tuning up. And I think he's
Uh-huh.
too tuned down sometimes to actually have that. I think one of the things I sort of made an asterisk over most of his films is the interval moment. Firstly, is very very abrupt. Like it isn't like what you call in a Hindi or Indian movie,
Traditional.
when it sort of builds to an interval. Like I felt there are a couple of interval points in Kamati Padam and then I realized, oh no, this isn't it. It's like it's something really really strange
Uh-huh.
where the interval point happens, and I was like,
I think
what
it's a style. I feel
maybe it
it's a
is.
way, the way it's written, the way it's made. I think it's a
Yeah,
particular way.
yeah.
I'm kind of trying to justify it. That's all.
No,
That's all.
you can see. I said whatever will be a feature. Like there are long parts of the film which are features for you, which I feel are like bugs for me, and I wasn't
Yeah, I
as
wanted to ask something to
yeah
Dhruv.
yeah
So is it because that we, or like if you consider this like this huge gangster drama film, so there is this template that is already there in your mind,
yeah.
that somewhere you feel that okay, it didn't reach up to it. It's not this masala movie, maybe it is this Rajiv Ravi movie, but somewhere
Yeah.
is that a point or a cause of disappointment?
So I actually think most of his movies he's operating mostly within genre templates only, Rajiv Ravi, but he makes them his own in many ways. Like it doesn't feel like, I thought this is the only film in which the genre kind of overwhelms his sensibilities sometimes. I felt that he needed to have too many action sequences, too many sort of, like I felt those were impositions upon him rather than something that comes naturally to the film. I understand that that is not how everyone feels, but that's one of my problems with it is that I felt it was too almost generic in a sense, in terms of its plot beats even. Like I get it's violence beget violence or begets violence. Like it's very
Yeah.
traditional in that sense. Like I mean, I think it's very, very masculine. This is his most masculine film, I think, for me.
That
In
I
just
would also agree.
but it's very
Tawam is also masculine, right?
no, masculine in the sense that it's
He meant
about toxic
he meant like
masculinity
hyper
in a sense.
masculinity. I think
Huh.
he's trying to say that. So I
Huh.
just
It's
want to ask you this. So were you able to connect with the characters in Comedy Bottom, like with Dulquer Salman?
I mean, I think I connected more with Dulquer Salman than I did with Krishnan, and I connected, but I connected to the Ganga character. Like I thought their story was
more compelling.
involving to me, but I thought so. This is the other observation. I guess this will also follow on to the other films. I feel he's sometimes a better director of sociology than psychology, if that makes sense. Like if he's better, like the gentrification stuff is the stuff that I am drawn to more in his films rather than, you know, the typical masala beats of gangster movies. So I think what I'm looking for is those, you know, side bits almost, which take center stage, which happens a lot in Kuttavam. But I think what Yadhu was saying, I think my character involvement was a little bit distanced, partly because of the narrative structure, because it is flipping around so much that I was a little bit like, okay, I know I need to figure it out what is happening and all that. And again, I think a lot of the plot beats felt a little too like already seen it in a ton of gangster films thing to me. But again, I have there are
Did you
things to
feel the
appreciate.
world was a little compelling?
It was. I didn't dislike it. I think again, I liked it the least out of all Rajeev Ravi films, of which I like most of them. So it's more that I'm not.
Also,
yeah.
What do you guys think? Like, I think this, since it's like a midpoint of discussion, and like there's like two films succeeding this, and it's like a common theme of how women are part of this whole world, which like in this film, I think Rose Amma is the name of the character, the wife, Gangadharan's wife.
Sean Romy.
I mean, I was thinking of the character's name, but I think it's like a common theme of how
Anita, I think.
Okay, I'm possibly wrong about it. Of how it's always women characters who are kind of optimistic and, you know, looking for that, looking for something in the future, which never really happens because like men usually
they are sort of stuck, in the middle.
Correct, which happens in I think Thermocam also, and it's in a way part of, kind of, you can connect it in a way to Anayam Rasulam also,
and Steve also in a sense.
Also, yes.
I want to drop an unpopular opinion here. So I don't think the woman characters are well written in his movies. Like it's just there, but they're not really. Like in Toromugam, I felt it the most. Like why are these characters being shown? I mean, I know that they have the struggle and all that, but maybe they could have been shown in a better way or something. So in Kuttam Shiksha, obviously we don't have any woman characters.
I think there are. I actually think Kuttam Shiksha has some of the best women characters, which is a weird thing to say considering there are very few in them. We will get to Kuttam, no? We want to. Kamati Padam has one really good moment with Anita, though. Like when she basically tells Dulquer Salman that, why am I waiting for you?
Why are you saying Dulquer?
It's Dulquer Salman.
Dulquer, okay, sorry. Dulquer Salman.
Yeah.
I will say Salman, but then that would mean something else.
Devi and our Malayali audience will scold us if we did not correct you.
Hello, you are not a Malayali.
No, I meant I said Devi and my Malayali audience, like that.
Okay, I will. Sanjeet, cut this out. Huh? Cut the part where I said Dulquer out.
Sure.
I mean, I just want to appreciate Sanjeet. You know, you have been like pronouncing most of the Malayalam names properly. Like that's commendable. You know.
Thank you so much for appreciation. I think I should put it down somewhere.
On your bio.
Something for merit.
On your resume next time.
Something, yeah, that's what. But I think we can move on slowly.
No, but did you saying something? I'm sorry, Devi was saying something about the female character.
Sorry. No. With respect to what Sanjeet asked, and Yadhu replied, I have a different view on it. Like especially with respect to Turumugham. When we come, I thought when we come to that, I will probably deal with it. But as one thing, what Yadhu said is correct. But because it's the hero's film, primarily.
Yeah, always.
It is
Yeah.
all the Rajeev Ravi movies are such, and
Hmm.
but still, I don't feel that they are not entirely like not well written.
Hmm.
It's not. It's or they don't
I mean,
explore
I'm
them.
sorry. I'll just rephrase it. Not well written. I meant like not relevant to the
Hmm.
premise.
And I think they are relevant, like whether it is
I think they're
some.
relevant too, in a way. Honest. This is my opinion, though.
Do you
But
do
because
you agree? Do you agree that for Thorumugam?
Yes, more so for
because,
Thurumuga.
because that's what I'm trying to put that's what I was trying to put my question through as well. Like, because I feel they are kind of those completely, because I think the men are more cynical and like
Correct, correct.
part of that chaos, and women are kind of out of that chaos but are
It's a
kind of
very,
affected by that chaos,
it's very like
and still are
tip.
more optimistic that something good may come out of it. And
But
most of, like, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, sorry, you
No,
completed
no,
and
no,
then
no, go ahead, go ahead.
no, like the only problem or only thing that I agree with what Yadhu said is there is this weight that, even when it comes to Turumugam for a certain period or for a certain time, there's this weight. Okay, this my man will come and rectify this.
That's
Or
the,
it will,
yeah,
The
yeah.
passivity is there, no, I think.
Yes, that's
But
yeah.
exactly that
in
is there.
Kamati Padam, there isn't there, to be very, like, I'm saying this, but like
No, but
with
the
one of the
character,
characters who like sort of makes their own thing, right? Like the
Mm.
brother's wife, I think.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Ganga's brother's wife, right? Or is it?
That's right. Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think so.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Like she
Anita
makes,
also,
okay, she makes a living of herself, I think, or even after the brother passes away, I think, if I'm not wrong, but
I
I'm
think
not sure.
Gangadharan leaves
But
at that point, and then
Okay.
I think Krishnan loves her in the beginning, right? And then it's like a kind of like a sort of complex love triangle, which he does that in Tharmakam also, in a
Turumakam,
way,
yeah,
like the
yeah,
whole thing.
Tharumakam, sorry, yes.
that is true, but one thing is, and they are in a sense, when things don't work out as expected, then they are
Hmm.
there is this then they're forced to do things, and fend for themselves and for the family,
Hmm.
play the role of the breadwinner. that
Hmm.
that that is there. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what I specifically felt, and why I still feel that they are relevant, is
Hmm.
the brunt of all these things, the consequences is borne by the women.
The
Yeah.
women, correct.
So they are actually, yes, they are not placed in the forefront. They are somewhere in the background, but
Yeah.
they are actually bearing all this, and it is told through in such a manner. Like there is this, even take a love story, take Unnamed Rasool. Uh,
Hmm.
somewhere I feel like if there wasn't this push from Rasool's side,
Hmm.
would Anna be alive today? I don't know whether
Yeah.
Hmm.
she'll be happy or whether she'll live a passive life. What if they
Yeah.
hadn't met, or what if this didn't happen? It would
Hmm.
have been different. Like it's something that the man does,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
affects the
Hmm.
women's life,
Insights. Yeah,
be
Hmm.
yeah,
it
yeah.
in any, even in Kamati Padam. It is what Ganga and Krishnan does that affects Anita.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
what changes their entire life. Maybe not in, like in Turumugam also you feel that
Hmm.
finally the end is actually very prominent there.
Yeah.
And in Kuttam
Spoilers
Shame, yeah,
later.
yeah.
Yeah.
In Kuttam, that when I actually come to Turumuga, I want to address
I
that.
mean,
But
it shouldn't be a spoiler, really, considering it's a real life, whatever incident, and they're remaking it. But yes,
and we
But
have
it's still,
already told
yeah.
all the
Yeah.
spoilers for all
I
films.
think so. Yeah, so it's okay.
So
Yeah,
there's one thing that Dhruv said, and in Kuttam Shikshayam also, since we are moving on to moving on to
good
that movie.
transition.
Yeah.
Can I just add one last point
Yes.
about
Yeah,
Comedy
yeah,
Padam? So
please.
Yep.
for me, I mean, I everybody will agree to this. So Comedy Padam is by far the most approachable Rajiv Ravi movie for
Approach.
every approachable. Yes,
Technically,
like
yes. That to
even
me that
even
makes sense. Yeah.
like non-Artos movie watchers, they'll be able to get into.
Huh. But yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that I even think, I mean, romance genre fans, especially, and Nayam, I think those two are probably the most because I think,
Hmm.
yeah, they like, I mean, Anayam Rasilam in one sense is Romeo and Juliet, and as you guys have said that like it has that template. I don't mean it's the same thing, of course there's variations to it,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
and what Yadhu saying, Kamati Padam has that once upon a time in, like, the West, and all the gang, a lot of they are very much templated and then worked around by the director. So yes, yeah, makes sense. I think.
Yeah, so what I was trying to say about Kuttan Shikshan, what Dhruv told is absolutely correct, because you see in Rajasthan, it's an entirely different climate, entirely different, scene where these women are, protecting their men. I was so surprised when I saw this, and I was actually laughing, oh God. And these people are like completely dumbfounded.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I to think you mentioned the Rajasthan thing. I think there's one in the first half in Kerala only when one of the witnesses' wife comes out and she like starts acting really, really over the top, and she's like, trying to suggest that the investigators have like harassed her in front of like a public, and then the husband comes outside and he's like, what are you doing here? And she like just slaps him. And she's like, you made me act like this. I mean, it's a minor part, but it stands out as the sort of,
So, quick trivia about that whole thing. Okay, it's based on like real incident. So, have you watched Tondi Mudal movie, right? The main inspector, he's the actual real person in whose story this is based on. Like he's going to Rajasthan and like doing the whole thing. So I found it very like he has this whole YouTube videos. Okay, the whole series he explains it in like whole detail. It's very interesting. If you, I'll share the link.
P. Thomas, I think. Thomas.
Interesting. But no, what do you guys think of Kuttamam then? Yadhu, you can only start.
It's for me, it's like Kamati Padam and Kuttam Shiksha. Both are like tied, like best Rajeev Ravi movies. It's like perfectly paced, I would say. Like it goes in the same pace, like no highs and no lows. It's like no commercial elements. Like the complaint that you had for Kamati Padam.
So I was about to say it's very.
This would have rectified that.
But it's very interesting that you say this, and I think it's very strategically done also by him. It's a police story. He's very procedure, but he's so staunchly anti-authority in any case, right? Like, and I think this is the only time he's directing a film about the police officer
on the other side.
He's like directing it for the other side, and I feel the pacing and like every like what you said about the background score being totally absent, like it totally sucks out all the what you get, chest thumping or whatever, the blood curling machoism you get. It's all like washed down in this film totally. It's really fascinating to me, at least. So yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry.
So the literal meaning of the title, okay, Crimes and Punishment. It's sort of based on that book by
Dostoevsky.
So it's if you see in the Asif Ali character, it's like facing the guilt of having shot a person. So he's going through that guilt. So it's the whole movie is kind of like a redemption for him, like the process he goes through, and it's like you said at the beginning, it's Rajeev Ravi is against the system in everything. So in this, even though these honest police officers, they are like giving their life to nab the criminals. Afterwards, like we see that they just let go so easily.
I really like the ending. I know people dislike it, but
it's very realistic.
Really like it.
Very realistic.
Yeah.
So for me, the most unique selling point in this was the brotherhood between those police characters. They had traveled together. Everyone though who watched this movie, they made this comparison to Theeran Adhigaram Ondru, Tamil movie.
The Vinod movie.
It's exactly same. They are going to Rajasthan and they're and having the.
But that is like more
commercial.
Dramatic.
It's more commercialized, but this is like proper. Like I would say, like
realistic
a film festival type movie, like fully off.
So it is.
Tribeca should have taken this, considering where we are.
So it's I would say the least approachable Rajeev Ravi movie. It is very hard for people to get past that even 1 hour mark. I would say literally.
Yeah, but I think it becomes very interesting after that, right?
Rajasthan when it goes to like it. He shoots it like a western sometimes almost.
It's sort of like a horror movie. I would say they are going into an unknown place and they really don't know like what they're in for.
There are
It's like
definite elements of horror. I think you're totally spot on. Like especially when they enter the village for the first time in the daytime and the
Mhm.
night. Both of them I thought were like some like amazing sequences. But yeah,
Mhm.
Devi, Sanjeet,
Yeah.
chime in.
So yeah, Sanjeet, you want to go first because I'll keep talking.
No. Go ahead. Sorry. Me and Dhruv have spoken about this film before also.
Yeah.
I don't think so. We have.
Okay, so what first, what intrigued me is again how being even after being a policeman, how that character Asif Ali's character again I don't remember the name. He's being treated like
CB. No. Shit.
uh,
Sergeant Philip.
Sergeant or
I have
I
forgotten the
could be
name and I
wrong.
rewatched it today only.
You
Amazing.
just
Yadhu,
watched
Yadhu, you
it.
C
remember?
CI
No,
Sergeant
I
Philip.
Sergeant
Sergeant
Philip.
Philip.
Yeah.
Sergeant Philip.
Yeah, so how Sarjan is actually treated, he's not this again, there is this lot of vulnerabilities. There's not the
Hmm.
usual police guy, the cop
Yeah.
that you will
Macho.
expect, macho, or
No
there's
one is much. Oh, no, there is
Mhm.
one or two macho people, but I mostly just not.
yeah, so
I
there's
think
this
Yeah.
I think only in Torumugam we have a macho character, maybe in police.
yeah. Yeah, so there's still that everything, all this I'm trying to find a connect. I feel that there is a connect. There is this
Hmm.
mirroring of characters, like how they are all these people are very vulnerable. There's this sort of helplessness, and as
Hmm.
Yadu told, there's this guilt in him as
Hmm.
his time which he's trying to overcome. So he's also caught up. He's not entirely quite enthusiastic about taking up this case, or he's personally also he's not in a very good shape. So
Yeah.
if such a man he's is being put into this, there's a kind of fear in him,
Hmm.
and then again he is being taken into an entirely different alien place.
Dislocation again.
Yeah, a
Yes.
dislocation, exactly. So again there is this shift from one place to another.
Hmm.
All that I feel is a common thread, and it
Hmm.
reoccurs in all his films. And it's personally I felt as though a lot of other performances are being spoken of. I feel that Asif Ali was absolutely amazing in this. I
Hmm.
loved him because of how he emotes with his eyes, and how because he's this quiet guy. There's a quietness to him. So
Mhm.
Hmm.
how he what he goes through and all is a is entirely through his facial expressions, how his eyes are particularly. So that is one thing I absolutely loved. And
Hmm.
this as I told earlier, like how the women are being in a very different way. This
Hmm.
time they are protecting the men, and that's very unusual in a Rajeev Ravi film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and it's such a like it initially it feels like this wouldn't amount to anything. It's
Hmm.
just as Yadhu told, that's why it's probably there's no highs or lows. It's just straight plain somewhere. But
Mhm.
even within that, you find these moments, as he said, of brotherhood, and how they all relate to these problems. And they are, even though they are facing it, there are different kinds of people who are facing them differently or taking them differently. And there's this conversation that actually happens between Asif Ali and Alansier, the character. I don't again remember the name of the character, and Alansier played. That's he's
Bashir.
a little yes, he's a little
Hmm.
senior to him, and how he's telling. There's this terrace scene in Rajasthan.
Hmm.
I hope you
Yeah.
remember.
Mm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that how much of this will come back to haunt you.
Yeah.
So
No, it's very. I think that moment is very effective
Yeah,
in the film in general.
I thought you were going to say about Asif Ali and Sunny Wayne confront
Hmm.
that scene.
Confrontational scene between
confrontation.
Yeah,
them two is also very very effective.
No,
Especially, I think
this
how he includes Bashir in the conversation.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That was also such a prominent scene. But now that I think of it, as Sanjit told, or I think you were discussing about the horror element of
Hmm.
it, and I actually felt like they are caught in a maze. this
There's that one scene, where
Rajasthan.
they're going in rounds,
They don't,
basically.
they don't
Yeah.
really, but there is this, even when you look at Kammatipadan or take Unnamed Rasoolum, you have these dingy lanes. This it's
Mhm.
something that I think Rajiv Ravi does focus on.
Yeah,
Even though he shows these backwaters, that which is
Yeah.
again one part of Ernakulam, but then there is
Mhm.
this darker side to it.
Mhm.
So I think that area of Rajasthan was being explored in this movie because of the how the story is probably. So there's this caught up in a maze kind of a situation, but then you think back and you feel that okay, if even back home these people weren't exactly in a comfortable position.
Hmm.
It's not like they are they you feel like okay, everything is under their control. There was no feeling like that there also. So there is this sense of not belonging anywhere. It's not like they are comfortable at home. We are not made to feel like that. They are comfortable in Kerala. They are everything is going as they wish or as they want, and they are receiving help. Nothing is happening. But even in such a situation, they are put in again an alien space. But again, they are struggling
I
more.
like the
Yeah.
whole stuff about like the smaller discussions about like food and all also, like they're
Yeah,
very like
yeah.
minute, and one of them is talking about like, here we can't even talk about the cows,
Yeah.
but like we can because they won't get that here, and
And
then
there even the food is not
yeah,
helping them in,
yeah,
back
Yeah.
home. At least they are comfortable with the climate and the food.
yeah,
Here even that is against them, and they are so this entirely becomes more of a brotherhood. Even in that final scene, I think that is what
yeah,
finally translates into
yeah,
Yeah. The
absolutely.
freeze frame, right?
It's
Freeze
kind of
frame.
Sorry,
like
sorry.
Lord of the Rings in some ways. I
Wow.
like they go through this traumatic journey and they become close.
Close friends.
Yeah.
Wow, that's some comparison. I never thought of it like that. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Dhruv,
Sanjeet,
what do you think?
बोला तो
You
मैंने.
just watch.
I was interrupting everyone left, right, and center because I like the movie a lot.
I still like it.
I
I
mean,
haven't watched it in like in a
I
very
think
long
this is the
time.
only movie that all four of us agree is like the best. Like other movies we have so much disagreements.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the one good thing that he has, like I think all of his films are like the detailing.
Yep.
So much of the detailing is so important. I think we spoke about before also. In this, it's like the procedural, but like the small thing, like signing a paper or like getting all those correct forms, whatever,
I think the
everything
first
correct.
half, like they deviate also quite a bit, not deviate, but like they chase so many rabbit holes. Like it feels like it's again moving not in a straight line, but in detours. Like, they have to,
Yeah,
it's all again
yeah.
very politically linked. I mean, the reason the people get out is because I think they stole the jewelry for some minister in Gujarat, which I don't know. Is that elusive to someone? I don't know. But it is. I was noticing like the plot more this time, on the rewatch, and I was like, oh, they like go first to like migrant workers, then they go to like different factions in
Correct.
the
Now I
society, and like
remember.
then
Yeah.
then they get this lead, and then they go to this place. So yeah, which itself is like a haunted place. Like the police officers they there tell that police officers there are equally as corrupt. They are like having
Yeah.
to
Oh,
they are
worse
involved
in a
in the
way.
drug trade almost
Yeah.
between them. So like there's a lot of it's going on, and it's not again blurted out. It's very covert in the way it's
It's like how
communicated.
much you can take out of whatever is happening. It's like
Yeah,
it's like again an observational piece, but then it becomes about how much of it how much of understanding you have of kind
yeah,
of that world.
yeah.
Um, which I think again points to that. Do you remember that 360 theory? It like kind of
I
applies to
I
this in a
always
way,
remember
like
that, Sanjeev. That's a very good observation.
like the same thing it has, like
Yeah,
like you kind of understand what is happening in a certain way, and it's not. It's done with like with different technique rather
yeah.
than like your
Quick
usual
cutting
just
is
pointing
not
a
there. This is
camera.
very like
No,
this
more
one has the
subtle.
most patient camera work. I think like it
Most,
lingers
yeah,
a
yeah,
fair bit
yeah.
on a lot of people, and then just silence I think automatically makes a film slow sometimes, for good or for
But
worse. But yes,
yeah, but I think it was
yeah.
kind of demanding
I think
in the.
I mean I'm a big advocate. People should always not use background score too much. I think, see, in this film you can always hear the footsteps. Those footsteps make a lot of difference. I feel like they just
True. It
add to
kind
the
of puts you in that
atmosphere.
space, right?
Yeah,
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 diegetic.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Film studies.
This
Film
is
studies, film
this
studies.
is like a completely random question, but are there any other Indian movies that go into this much detail about police procedures like Tiranadhigaram and Kuttam Shiksha? Like, do you know any other movies? I just want to discover.
Cop films or like procedural,
Yeah,
like because
like cop films, like investigation procedure for that.
I don't know, Talwar maybe, but that's more into a different thing, I feel. But it has these elements. Talwar is the only one I can think of.
Like almost like a documentary of
Ha, or Talwar is basically Rashomon and in a documentary style.
Americans, right?
no. This is
No,
Irfan
that's
Khan.
Talash.
Okay, sorry.
Talwar is
Irfan Khan.
Irfan Khan.
Okay.
Written by Vishal
Yeah.
Bhardwaj.
And
Which,
directed by
I'll
Mehboob
definitely
Mizan.
check it out.
yeah, that's a very good movie from whatever I remember at least. Apart from that, I can't remember anything that goes into like nitty-gritties of police work.
I don't
I
think so.
always say in English films you have Mindhunter or series, sorry.
Wire.
Wire, Mindhunter, all these things, I think, and then there's more also.
Sarfarosh also you can put in like a good procedural, but it's
Sarfarosh.
more like an investigative thriller. So it's a little different.
CID.
And otherwise,
Kidding.
yeah, sure.
Kidding. Don't go into that.
There is that Ivan Iyer movie also called Sony.
Yes, that's also.
I don't know if you.
Yes.
It's on Netflix.
Which one?
Sony. SONI.
SONI. But it's not a procedural, but it's about like the lives of two police women at a police station.
It's a good companion piece to this Kuttavam in some ways. If you want to see like a gender flipped version.
This is much more muted. I think Sony is much more muted.
Sony is much more muted and even less plot driven. In fact, I feel.
Yeah, it's just character like.
Yeah.
But again, it has your theory of like she's riding cycle and you see her riding cycle for like a really long time.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Tarkovsky reference.
No, not Tarkovsky level. That's 2-3 steps ahead in terms of keeps on walking from right
not
to
steps,
left to left
leaps
to right.
ahead.
Yes, sorry. Sanjeet is a big fan of Tarkovsky. That's why he says.
Yes,
so Bellator then.
Let's not go there. I think best we move to Thirumukam.
No, but there's also if you want, there's another film called Drokal. I don't. There's a remake by Kamal Hassan for the same film. It has Nasser and Kamal Hassan. I don't remember. Yeah. I don't know how's the remake. I haven't seen that one, but Drokal is also pretty nice.
Yeah, it's one of a cult classic movies in Tamil.
Yeah.
Cult classic. Yeah. I haven't seen that, but Drokal is by Govind Nelani. So I mean, that is also like a good kind of more closer to a reality kind of thing. You can.
I mean, if you guys have suggestions, you can tell. I am a big sucker for this sort of thing. I've realized, like stripped down procedural.
If I have to suggest, I would say Tamil movie Tanakaran.
Okay.
And if you have,
it came out like last year, right?
Yeah, it's fully about in the police training, like how what they go through.
Yeah.
And
did Paranjit produced it? Oh
no.
Or am I wrong? No.
So another one, this Vetrimaran's Viduthalai, I think.
Viduthalai we watched. I watched.
Oh no, I've not seen Viduthalai. Sorry, I've seen the other one with Sanjeet.
Visarane.
Yes, but that's not procedural. That's just very depressing. Very well made. Not denying that, but
it's not about but like kind of more in depth look into the whole.
Yeah.
Functioning.
What about Manorama and all? I know we've gone off track and we'll probably cut all this out.
Yeah, I like that movie. Abhay Deol movie, right?
Abhay Deol, Manorama, I've not seen.
It's more genre rather than like exploration.
Got it.
In that sense. But yeah.
We should move on to
epic
It's not, whatever. You said it in a way which made it sound like it's very bad. Did any of you watch it
in, like, did Yadhu or Devi watched it in cinema?
Devi watched it. Devi watched it.
Yeah.
Cinema?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you guys think?
So I have been like waiting for this from a long time, so it kept postponing.
You rewatched, right? Even I remember.
Yeah. So actually, the movie was releasing in the same week or
1 week later, I think.
As
3rd June.
No. It was supposed to release. Yeah. At the same time as Kuttam Shiksha. So I thought
that's what I'm saying.
So that was like a very
27th May, and this was Tharmukam was 3rd June. Then they postponed it to maybe a year. Then
So that was kind of like a very bad thing, very bad choice that they choose to do that. I mean, producers obviously will be different, but it's
Yeah, yeah.
like he does he want to have like 2 flops in 2 weeks?
But
So
did Kuttavam release in cinemas?
yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
it was direct to Netflix.
No,
No.
no, no. It
Okay.
came in cinemas and then after
and
a
Okay.
month.
it flopped and it came Netflix.
Okay.
So so it got postponed, and again similarly, like Alphonse Sutran's Gold, that was also like postponing. So we never
3, 4
thought that
months. Yeah.
we would see Gold and Thurumagam in like out in the open. So we thought it was like One Piece, not real. Uh, uh,
Didn't Gold have that rumor that they lost one of their hard drives? Do you know about this, or is it just
yeah,
me who knows?
yeah. I also heard that.
It was very weird. I was like, what is happening? But anyway, sorry, continue. Sorry.
So yeah, Thurumagam, we have this most hyper masculine character, Devin Poli. He's like wearing that turtleneck dress and all. So I think one of the most high points in the movie, that he
Hmm.
will defend his, like he and his brother, they both are in the opposite side. Like
Hmm.
so finally, Devin Poli comes and helps his brother, like defends him. That was a very high point in the movie.
Hmm.
And similarly,
Hmm.
many people said that the Jojo's scenes were very good at the beginning. Their
Prologue.
Yeah,
father.
super nice.
Hmm.
I really
Yeah.
liked it.
Hmm.
So I think here again the focus is on like the Kochi, like how the
Yeah.
people are living,
Hmm.
the Chapa system, like
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
token system. That was a
Hmm.
very primary focus here. So I don't think any other movie had shed light on this particular thing. So Rajeev Ravi always like goes to the does a very well research, I guess.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you can see the way they talk, and I think here mostly we see the Muslim community here, the way the
Hmm.
accent, this vernacular they use, it's very specific to that region, and so much historical details were there in that. But
Hmm.
many people were saying like it felt like more like an 80s or 90s rather than
50s.
40s, was
I
it?
was surprised when they said there was 40s and 50s. I was like, this is like, and I was like, this doesn't look that much like. But
Yeah,
it also to me looks like
that's
a 70s film, which yeah, we'll go into more, I guess.
Hmm.
No, but say, sorry, what were you saying?
uh,
Yes.
so yeah, I think the premise was interesting, like how they chose
Hmm.
to take two brothers, and if you
Divar
see like
type.
the younger brother Arjun Ashokan, I kind of watched Romanjam before that, so it was very hard for me to see in this role.
Take him seriously.
Like he's always like smiling and nodding in
Nodding his
that,
head.
and he's very serious. Everybody said that it was very hard to picture Arjun Ashokan in this
For
role.
context for Dhruv,
I know
there's
about
you know
Ravancham.
about
I
this?
know.
Okay,
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
I thought you didn't know about it.
No, it's added to my watch list. I haven't watched
Okay, okay.
yet.
Even if you haven't seen the movie, okay, there is this song that he'll be like, like always smiling and nodding,
This
like
is the
Very
whenever
second
weird.
brother, right? In
yeah,
Thurumakam.
yes, second
Okay.
brother.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like
yeah.
Okay.
he's actually son of comedian Ashokan. So
Okay.
that's
Word.
again another trivia. So
Hmm.
Mm.
yeah, the premise was interesting that they chose to take two brothers and put them in opposite sides.
Yeah.
So like how they are
Mm-hmm.
exploited by the power. So
Yeah.
I really like this part. Okay, like how the the owners, how the owners who use the, like they what the masters, I think. So
Hmm.
how they were like trying to get the union for their side, I think that was very interesting. They wanted to
Hmm.
like show that they are like progressing and
Hmm.
are very like helpful to the workers, but
Hmm.
again the the union again becomes their
Corrupt,
kind
right?
their kind
Very.
of puppet. So again they
Hmm.
form a second union. That second union also becomes their puppet, so they again form a third union. So
Yeah.
it's kind of very like
So
Rajiv Ravi wanted to show how the even the system that is supposed to keep the system in check can become corrupt if it's not
Corrupt. Yeah.
like led by the right people. So it's kind of like it's kind of criticizing both wings, I would say.
Yeah.
By
More I feel the right, but I mean even the left, I think the left eating its own
There
self is the
is,
sort of other
the theme,
kind of
kind of.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
so
yeah.
the movie actually did not work at all. Like I was kind of disappointed with the narrative. Like it kind of I know like what he was trying to where he was trying to go, but it felt like it kind of was meandering here and there, like without a proper way to go. Like
Yeah.
I think the timings could have been trimmed at least to make it a little more. Uh,
Definitely. I mean, I do definitely agree
I
with
mean,
that.
did you like the movie, Srinath? Like, or only it didn't work for us, Dhruv and me?
It worked for me. I just finished watching it, so I think for me it'll need a little bit of more time to think about it. But as far as I know, like as soon as I finished, I felt like I enjoyed the film quite a lot because it kind of reminded me of a lot of other films also, and there are like certain very solid moments which I was like super nice. Again, it's like that whole we spoke about, like the whole procedural way is so detailed, like how the tokens are distributed and how it's gone amongst people, and there's like also how Nivin Pauli's character. Um, Moidu becomes like a demon kind of persona and then like keeps spiraling down. And it's like,
Yeah.
I really like those ideas. I think I agree in a way, like it could have been shortened for sure, like a bit.
Either could have been shortened or could have been like a series, like a
A
mini series.
series.
Yeah,
I kept feeling throughout that. Yeah.
exactly. I felt that like
Hmm.
every episode could have been like 1 hour. They could show every character's
Hmm.
perspective,
Yeah.
like a one whole episode for the mother's character.
Yeah.
I think the
I think the
uh,
mother actually is the anchor, and I thought if the whole film was more centered around her, I would have probably been more sort of
so
into it.
the
Involved.
Purnima
Mm.
Indrajit character. Okay, I don't
Yeah.
think I've seen her in a long years in Malayalam cinema. She
Mm.
Hmm.
was kind of out of the picture after
Hmm.
her marriage with
Mm.
Indrajit. So if you don't know, like the Indrajit is like her real life husband.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
he plays another character in the movie. So
Santo Gopalan, I think.
yeah, so he gets
Yeah.
so the way her character was written, that was very good. So
Mm.
like
Mm-hmm.
uh so like a web, if we had made as a web series, 1 hour focus on each
It would have
perspective,
been super
for
nice.
like
Yeah.
1 hour hold for Jojo's like prologue thing. So
Hmm.
I
The
think
super nice. I thought it could have been like longer also, and I
I
would have
thought that
enjoyed
is
because
going to be the movie, and I was like, oh, the credits came. Because I didn't read about the synopsis at all, so I was like,
no, even I
oh,
didn't
yeah,
know. But
yeah,
I
yeah.
could kind of
I
anticipate. That's
completely
why. Yeah.
completely agree. The time skip
hmm.
kind of felt little jarring.
Hmm.
Like we wanted more to
Mm.
see from that part itself. That was very abrupt, no? Like suddenly we are seeing the kids and all. Like, we don't know what happened to him. Like it
I thought
Mm.
I thought he'll actually not show it and he'll leave it for like one of those, like a very smart ellipsis in one sense. I thought like that they won't flash back to it and then it'll just basically be that times have changed, but like their time hasn't, or whatever. Sorry, time has changed, but their times haven't changed, sort of like that. Like the people there, their times haven't changed in that sense. So I thought
Mm-hmm.
that would have been interesting. And it is the same. I mean, I feel this is a very predominant thought amongst a lot of thinkers that history moves in circles. And I feel this kind of is very much about that. Uh, so yeah, I feel I've seen, again, maybe seen too many films which sort of have a similar edge to it, and I thought this sort of dissipated as it went on, just because I thought I was more into it as Yadhu was in the beginning, and I felt gradually it sort of just petered out in a
Fizzles.
way, fizzles out. And I think I like
I
the
think
ending had a
at
sort of
least the
nice
first
eye to
90
it.
minutes is super nice. I think the first 90
Hmm.
minutes
yeah,
hold you very
I
properly. And then I think,
completely agree with that.
Hmm.
At least the first half fully
Hmm.
yeah.
like
I think I can imagine that
Hmm.
happening. Yeah.
Devi champion
But
it.
the cinema goer.
I'm just trying not to.
She's a big Nivin Poli fan, so
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. So I'm just trying not to, interrupt you guys in the middle. That's why I just tried my
no,
best
no.
to stay silent. So yeah, so this is actually, yeah, as Yadhu said, I watched it in the theater. So I
Hmm.
believe that this demands a theatrical experience because everything from the setting. So this is the first film
Hmm.
I felt like Rajiv Ravi.
I'm sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt,
yeah.
but how was the theater audience like? Were they also like?
Were there any audience considering the film was coming out?
No, they were.
Okay,
I,
okay.
Very
I
harsh.
was too
Very harsh.
engrossed in this to notice everything else. So yeah, so I really feel that it demands that
Hmm.
theatrical experience because this is the first film I feel that Rajiv Ravi has like he has set up something. There is a setup. There is
Hmm.
a
Proper. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So earlier films, it's like he's documenting things. So there's this real world. There's this real world friction that is happening. So
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everything feels very real. And as Sanjeet said, this he's just observing. Now it feels more like he's taking part in this. There's this Rajiv
I
Ravi
agree.
world. So
Hmm.
that is one huge difference when you watch it in a theater and when you watch it in OTT probably. So
Hmm.
and one another thing that I absolutely loved about it is the concept that it's not a much discussed issue, this Chapa
Hmm.
system. And seeing that how closely related it is to Mattanjeri, it is again
Mm.
Ernakulam. So it probably is a little bit more. It's a personal, much more personal issue suddenly to him. So and that it's somewhere like how Dhruv said it is like history is a circle. It just cycles back. There's this fewer opportunities and everyone is trying to grab it. Now
Hmm.
also it's somewhere it's the same. Things are changing but things are not changing for them. What he told is absolutely correct.
Hmm.
So this again bring going back to unnamed Rasulum,
Hmm.
it's still the same. They Rasul doesn't have a proper opportunity, or he doesn't
Yeah.
have feel a belongingness in his own land, that he has to travel to Bombay to find a
Hmm.
space. So it's a much
Kamati Padam, no? Sorry.
Ras-
Bombay is Kamati Padam, from whatever
Rasul,
I.
No,
unnamed
Rasulam,
Rasul.
and
He
he goes at the end to Bombay, right?
okay, but okay. I thought he just ends up in the sea or something. That's the whole thing.
No, he goes traveling in the train. That's the last shot, right? When he's in Bombay
Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay,
with
fine.
So
mustache.
With
that
mustache.
that kind of that chapa system, that fewer coins you are and you have to grab it, to
Hmm.
find
Yeah,
work, that still persists in a very different pace. So something
Yeah.
that I felt when I watched the movie, and to discuss that from this whole big issue from
Hmm.
a family. Again, that's something I found interesting. It is basically Mahmood, I think Mahmood's family is being focused. Mahmood is the father, Jojo's character.
yeah. George
Hmm.
George. Mm.
To tell the story from that bigger picture, to
Hmm.
compress it into the like how it affects the
Personal, why
family.
political
Yes,
making personal, sort of like that, right? Yeah. Yeah.
That personal, bringing it to a personal space also
Yeah.
is something that I love. And again, stressing on the theatrical experience. Why? Because one of the most beautiful introduction scenes for Jojo, actually,
Hmm.
like the sheer physical strength, it
Yeah.
actually felt
Strength. Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Oh, it felt so believable, and it translates to his uh, son. His like Moido also is like
I
physically.
really like
A little
Nivin Pauly.
bulky.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
he was very electric in this, like whenever he
Yeah.
came on. But
And
like,
to entirely like shed that hero image, and it's something I think
hmm.
someone, I think Bharadwaj Ranganas, I think he's told that to
Oh,
shed it entirely and take a role like this, where
hmm.
there's
Mm.
no redemption, there's nothing. He's just
Thing.
as Sanjit said, he's just spiraling down.
Hmm.
He's just bad man. He's
Yeah.
a monster. Something like in though it's not entirely like this, but Mutton is also a character with
Similar.
similar
I I
shade.
actually told you this after watching the movie, right? Like Nivin Poli looks so young after watching Mahavir and all that. Like
Yeah,
10
Short,
years,
like ages back, right?
like 10
yeah,
years
short.
younger.
Yes, it was short very earlier, but it as you said,
2019, 20 before pandemic, right?
Yeah. So it's just that turtleneck t-shirt and all, and how it's like he's trying to, fend for. He's not bothered about his family. He's just looking out for himself. But
Yeah.
he's just trying to be smart, like joining them. Where it's this more lucrative for me. That's the only point that he thinks. Whether it is his, even the way he is attracted to the, how he shows his,
Hmm.
that one bit that I felt like there is some kind of human being in him, is
Yeah.
there's this one, a blink and miss moment where he feels for his sister
Yeah.
Darshana's character when she is sick. So but that also, how he reacts is so different. He just stays away from her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and again, something that I felt is like how women are, put in the backdrop usually in his film. Here actually the real hero is actually in the backdrop. I feel that Hamza is the hero, like Arjun Ashokan's character, the
Do you
silent.
think
Shashi
that was
Kapoor.
do you think it was well developed? I thought there was a point in the second half where I was like, there are probably 2, 3 scenes I've sort of missed or something, where his character actually comes to life
I
as,
felt
this
the same.
fighting rebellion.
Yeah.
Like the ending where he's like protecting someone. I know there's a scene in the beginning before
Oh, yeah.
when he does protect also someone, but I never felt with him that he had like, joined the force in a sense. Because in the
No,
beginning, he sort of passive.
That is
uh,
exactly what I wanted
actually,
to say. Yeah.
actually, I disagree with what you said. So I think
Okay.
Arjuna Ashokan character, I mean Devi's point. So
Mm-hmm.
Arjuna Ashokan was always like in the background, not at the
Mm-hmm.
front. Like if
Yeah,
there
Mm-hmm.
is
he
a
is. That's exactly my point, because
Mm-hmm.
he's not being, but how do I say this? As Dhruv said, there's no this. It's not like he's going to fight, or he's confused. He's a
Mm-hmm.
confused
He's
man,
Steve
but
Lopez.
he's Steve Lopez.
This is
He's
my
a little bit
connection.
of a he's probably, yeah, probably a little bit of a lot of other people, but
Yeah.
the genuinity in him, that how he tries, is
Yeah.
what made me feel that probably this is the man that we have to
Yeah.
put our attention to. Even the mother is actually
Hmm.
thinking, like looking up to Niven Pauly's
No.
character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moidu. So, but like he's sidelined everywhere. That's right. I,
Hmm.
I feel that is the typical Rajiv Ravi hero. He's like he's never in the forefront.
Focus. Hmm.
He's this plain dude. He's just trying to swim through somehow. So I
Hmm.
that feel is what I got from Hamza.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
and
Hmm.
it could be like somewhere, as Dhruv said, he could have been more explored. There could have been more scenes, but then I think this whole flavor of that finding out that he is the hero would be missed. Now that
Hmm.
but watching it like that, and watching him, and how he's still struggling, is what made
Hmm.
me. And even
Okay.
till the very end, he finally, as you said, there's a moment where he protects, and he does what he can finally, and
Hmm.
finally he just gives up his life, like
Yeah. No, that's
what else can
interesting.
we
Actually, I never thought of it like that. But it's true. Like I was thinking more that the film is building towards a sort of parallel narrative where, they're exploring the two sides of how two people are coming to
that is also
realizations
there.
of different
Correct,
sorts.
correct. That is also a part
Yeah.
of it. But this, when you are thinking,
like City
otherwise
of
I
God.
was,
Hmm.
yeah. But then when you are thinking about how Rajiv Ravi treats his hero, I was just thinking,
Hmm.
who is the hero in this movie?
Hmm.
Who is the main character? But then he's, as women are being, see, like here the women are also a little, like how Yadhu had told earlier, they are looking up to see, Purnima's character. She's looking up to her husband, what he's
Yeah.
selling, what is. Then again the son. Then after the
Hmm.
husband is going, then the son, she's eagerly waiting for him to come and provide for them. And
Yeah.
then but then finally it is the second son who actually does something.
Yeah.
And then in the final scene, then she realizes that she's alone, that
Hmm.
each of them are
There's
alone.
this,
And
there's
this
this, no, sorry to interrupt, but I just
yeah,
want to
yeah.
point out one really lovely moment that happens during the first half only, where she looks up to the sky and the like this image just fades into like these birds
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
sort
yes.
of descent into, and I was like, that was
That's the
like, it's a,
song, right?
so yeah,
Yeah.
it's a song which I think they use pretty less. I mean, I was surprised it was used this like judiciously, because
Sparsely.
because the other thing that they use consistently, and I don't know what to make of it, is a jazzy soundtrack in this
I love
environment,
it.
which I don't know if it fits, Sanjeet.
To me, it serves as a voiceover, if you don't want to believe
Okay,
it.
interesting.
It kind of gives me like more, like, see, the thing is, scenes, there's like a lot of, I think it kind of punctuates a lot of
It
moments.
allows you to like continue sort of one scene to another, sort of like that. I
Yeah,
understand
because
that.
there's like
Yeah.
a lot happening, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
a character goes to a certain place and then like
Yeah.
that whole thing where um shit, I forgot the character's name. Arjun
Uh,
Ashokan goes to get to the
Hamza.
yeah.
lender. Hamza
Hamza.
goes to the lender,
The
Hmm.
and
Jew.
then Nimisha Sajan's character also comes to the lender, and the character goes somewhere else, and the character follows her. But then
Uh-huh.
the character goes missing somewhere else, and then she. So there's like a lot of stuff that is
Okay.
happening. I
So
think
it's like unifying it
uh,
almost together.
music kind of is trying to make it more coherent. I mean, it is coherent,
Okay.
but it's like
Huh.
as like a certain bond of like
But
in a
see,
world.
that
I
is
don't know.
again, once again, that is also this contradiction. See, both these brothers meet this woman, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
who she falls for is one who is a little bit more masculine. Even the other one is trying
Hmm.
to help her, and he actually does. So, but
Yeah.
what
Lovely
she,
moments between them,
yeah,
actually. The
but
bangle
what
moment.
she, yes, yes, what she finally takes note of is Moidu.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I found that also quite interesting. So, and there's the fact that there is no redemption arc is one thing I absolutely loved in this movie. I was expecting
There's
to say
someone else also who likes like super cynical, depressing endings.
because
Uh, yeah.
that's one thing. So and how this again, this women, now the men, finally the women are actually taking up some kind of a sense of control is there,
Yeah.
probably, I don't know, that sense of fight is there, and they're
Hmm.
not entirely looking for the man to come and handle things. So
Hmm.
that also is there somewhere, I felt
Yeah.
like more so in Thuramukham. And one thing I agree with all of you is, yes, it could have been a better edited film, because I also felt that runtime was a little too long. But I
Mm.
don't see it as a web series. I like this as
Okay.
a feature, but I wished it was better edited. And cinematography was also amazing. I loved it, and I
This is the
felt
only one
that
he's done
he has
for it. Yeah.
probably,
Yeah.
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 And as I said, it is a setup. So that world is
Hmm.
entirely different from what we have seen. This Raji
Hmm.
Ravi world that we have seen till now. This is entirely a setup, and this is, and that somewhere it worked for me. That kind of a
Yeah.
setup worked for me. Even that the action, the whatever little action sequences in the beginning, as you said, the hero
Mm.
introduction, and how Jojo's character was placed, even though his time was again limited.
Hmm.
So there's this moment, as Dhruv said, Purnima just looks at him when there's a silence, which is
She
typical
has a
again,
lot of
Rajiv
that look
Ravi.
on her face, I think,
Yes,
throughout
yes.
a lot of the movie. And I think that's very effective. I mean, I am moved by that sort of performance also. So, yeah.
So this is actually, from what I know, again, I'm not entirely sure. This was a play long back.
It was a play.
Uh,
Hmm.
It's
so this
written in the
was,
beginning, I think,
It
in the
doesn't
yeah,
look
yeah,
creation
like a
of the
play
film.
at all, to
yeah,
Rajiv Ravi's credit. Uh,
Big credit, yeah.
yeah,
yeah. So,
it was,
and to
yeah,
develop such an issue and such a less discussed issue into something
yeah.
like this, I felt that it was a
No,
cinematic
absolutely. I
experience.
mean, it has
Yes,
like, I
yes.
mean, I like Sanjeet. You said I didn't like it. I admired it decently. Again, you are exaggerating my
I'm
not
sorry, I'm
liking of
sorry.
stuff. Anyways, but people who are actually interested in this sort of subject matter, I'll just throw out two names of films which I recalled a lot while watching this. One of them is a documentary called Harlan County, USA. Pretty big, like it was a big documentary when it released. It has a similar labor union struggle against a giant corporation in some senses. It has a parallel to that. And I think this movie kind of improves upon what Mike Lee's Peterloo does. If people like Peterloo, then explain to me why you like it, I guess, because I don't understand.
I
But
kind
that,
of find a lot of parallels to Vetrimaran's Vada Chennai also in a way.
that's true actually. Yeah.
Like in that whole epic zone and like centered around like a small, like that was also like what North Chennai, and this is like Mattancherry, and it's like the whole politics of the space and everything.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So
That's I agree with it.
Yeah.
That's a Chennai comparison.
Yeah. I wish there was like a little. I mean, this is one of those films which I watched.
Actually, Thoramagam was supposed to be like Chennai for Malayalam cinema. Like
It could
everybody
have
had
been.
had that expectation.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wish it was better, but I still like it quite a lot. I mean, that's me. I like most stuff. So
you like most stuff. What is that supposed to mean?
I think
that you have a grump on the podcast with you.
No, I think he's trying to say he's less cynical. He's more on the glass full, glass half full.
okay.
Yes.
Anything else that you guys would like to add?
Can we just like talk about like your favorite, most memorable or favorite scenes from all of Rajeev Ravi movies that stand out?
Mine would be from Kamati Padam. The moment where Dulquer Salman Krishnan reaches, I think in the present he reaches Gangadharan's place, and he sees his wife, who he also liked when he was when younger, and the father. And then it cuts to the flashback of when Gangadharan was there, and he takes, I think, a rod and gets out of the house. I thought it was a lovely scene of how characters were going and coming to each other in a way, and I think his search for him is also in a way. I mean, it's kind of like a futile thing, right? I mean, Gangadharan's dead by that point, and he's in search of him, and that was like a lovely scene. What do you guys think?
Let Devi say. Devi. One scene.
One scene that would be hard, especially because you guys have rewatched all this and I haven't. So one scene would be.
I mean, if somebody says Rajeev Ravi, you will remember like from top of the head. It will come to you like that.
Actually, one scene that probably because it's somewhere it amazed me, even though I had my issues with it. Unnamed Rasoolum, actually, her death is something that somewhere, and how he reacts to it. And
silent, no, I think a lot of it, from whatever I remember.
Yeah. That there's this
silence.
Yes, and he just breaks down. There's one moment he's literally you see him breaking down, and he's just
falls on his knees.
Yeah. That's one moment that, as he said, just when you talk about Rajeev Ravi, suddenly that comes as definitely Unnamed Rasoolum, and especially that scene. And he's just consoled by Sunny Vane's character. There's this shot of him, half a face actually, and then there is this scene where he goes, as Dhruv said, like underwater, and he opens his eyes. And you feel like
the ending of the film.
Somewhere. So those two scenes still come up when you refer to a Rajeev Ravi film.
Yadhu, go for it. Yes.
It's like from Committee Padam, it's very hard to pick one favorite scene. So since we already spoken about the climax and that phone call Sidhu, maybe when the Parabara song is coming, the father is taking the kids through the field, and they're like locating to a new place. That whole sequence was very nostalgic for me. So maybe that scene, that whole Parabara song. It like the song slowly.
That was actually very beautiful.
The song will like start very slowly. The tempo will rise, then it'll like hit the peak, like Parabara like that. That's.
And it's so significant, that changing landscape and how the has detailed. There's so much of nostalgia in that. When that you are on the edge of change, this is not going to last, and then that's such a good choice.
I mean, mine is just Kuttavam's village tour, the first village tour. It's probably because I watched the film for the first time. Like that's the first Rajeev Ravi film I watched because we were last year only, and I was just I was not prepared, so I was really feeling scared. And I remember, like, there's not that much stuff that scares me easily, I feel. So I think this was really effective. Tense. Yeah.
It was like a Resident Evil game. Resident Evil
Basically, yes.
Village.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that moment when in from Anayam Rasulam only the song Kande Rande Kande.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like supremely well done. Like how I think it
yeah.
starts when she's in a bus, I
Mm.
think, and then he's running something like that. Supremely well shot. Love it
Yeah.
so much.
Their
Similarly, the
first
other song
meeting, I
also.
remember.
Yeah.
The
Meeting.
Kayalinarige.
And
Mm.
there's this. What I love is the other song, Kando Kando Kinavil, that Andre only has.
Andrea Jeremiah's
Yeah.
song. Yeah.
So that's the point that he's sick and she realizes that he misses him. There's this love and how she's just looking at the mirror and putting on the
Longing.
bindi. Oh, I absolutely love
Bindi.
that. And it's the same way that she goes, like every day she goes through that same lane. So
Yep.
it's the same thing, but something has changed in her. So
Yep.
that realization and through that song also, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
What
Actually, he
about
never sees her wearing a bindi, right? That's
Yeah. That's the first time. Yeah.
heartbreak.
what about Kathirunna Pakshi song in Committee Board? That scene.
I don't remember it actually. Where does it come?
It's like all three are wearing like new dress in their teenage
Yes.
phase, I think. So they're like having that innocence. They're just smiling and taking pictures and all that.
Okay, that's like right, I remember it. Yeah. Super nice.
In the near the trees and all that.
Yeah.
So beautifully visualized, like very beautifully picturized song. I think Karthik's song. Karthik, I think is the singer. It's a nice song. Even, yeah.
No, I was going to say like there's that bit right where the younger version of Krishnan and Anita are walking after that whole Michael Jackson thing also. There's like very beautiful background score and like they're talking and going super nice moment also. I don't know, I just like that bit quite a lot. And
There
if you
are,
listen to that, I don't know how much you respond to that.
You
kind
put
of
it too
visceral.
in the episode.
I'll put it somewhere. I was already planning.
Okay.
actually, I like, since none of you like Steve Lopez, I don't know whether I should be telling this, but the songs are actually very beautiful.
The songs are really nice on Steve Lopez, I thought.
That's what I also told.
Yeah,
Right?
you
Yeah.
were referring to the Jasi Gift song, but I like the other song, like Chiragugal Ni Nan Duramai. There's a male and female version to it. It's this short time where they like, I think Anjali is her name. Anjali and Steve, they walk.
Ahana, right?
Ahana Krishna.
Ahana's character. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just random. I feel very random actually, these shots and scenes. It's not when he referred to this song only, it felt like this was so beautifully picturized, the Kamati Padam song, but very different from it. But that song is absolutely like it's beautiful. So yeah, for someone who doesn't use much songs in their movies,
Yeah. No, but I think that's the trick. I think people who don't
Yeah.
who don't use it probably know what and
Know
when
how
to
to
use
better
it.
it. How to do
Yeah,
it well.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Actually, what
or you have
happened to
Vikramaditya Motwane. So
like what happened to the actor after that? Like we didn't see him in any other movies.
Who?
Farhan Fazil.
Yeah.
Then,
He was there in that Mammootty movie. That shit. How can I forget? Which came exactly like in March, 3rd March last year. What is that Godfather thing?
oh,
Bhishma Parvam.
Bhishma
Parvam.
Parvam.
Bhishma Parvam. Yeah.
How
He
did
was
you
there in it.
forget this? You would love it.
I don't know. I forgot the title.
Okay.
Everything. He's the goatee guy. He's the Shine Tom Chaco's younger brother.
Yeah.
I mean, that was after very long, right? I mean, there was a big
Yeah.
gap and stuff, right?
Yeah, he did one or two movies other than that. I
Like
think.
very less, no filmography.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've reached the end of the episode now. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting us. Please share it with friends and like and follow this podcast or drop a review wherever you listen to this episode. or whatever platform. You can follow Yadhu on his Instagram page at Immersive Cinema. You can also follow his podcast, which will also be in the link, which is Immersive Cinema Podcast. You can follow Devi on her Instagram page at film.trans. You can follow Dhruv at Terminal Cinema. You can follow me at pixel_baba. And please share it with friends. It really helps us reach out to more people. And lots more episodes coming in the next 1-2 months.
If
Thank
we
you
can
so much for
edit them.
listening. Yeah, if we can edit them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. This is the end of the episode. Khatam.